Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes are sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. Not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack's at Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. Not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hello, my friends. Today is Sunday Fun Day. It is Sunday, July 20th, 2025, and got a good show planned for you tonight. He is here to grace us with a stop on his tour, his worldwide tour, really, because it's not even just a nationwide or cross-country tour. It is a worldwide tour, as he's been to Canada, and he's going to be going to Denmark, which is, I think, where Broken Baker is, and he's made a lot of stops along the way. And I thought I was going to be the encore, but apparently I'm not the encore. So there's going to be some more shows next week. You can catch them a lot of places. I'm not here to talk about the other interviews. I have turned off super chats. So if you have a couple of extra dollars and you felt like throwing it my way, I would like you instead to donate to Turtle Boy's Defense Fund, which is pinned in the chat, because a good defense team is expensive. As we all know, we saw that in Karen Reed's case. Super chats are off, but I just want to thank Gigi's got the silver bracelets ready for gifting 10 memberships. And all you guys who are in the chat who have been asking for this for a long time, I present to you the man, the myth, the legend, Aidan Kearney.
Thank you for having me, Melanie.
What's up, Daddy?
What's happening?
What's up, Daddy? I just wanted to say that.
Well, there you go.
How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming on my show. People have been asking for this for a long time. And, people think we have some sort of like behind the scenes beef, which I think is so ridiculous. Can we just squash the beef and tell everyone that we're friends?
Yeah. Where do people get that from? That's silly.
I don't know.
I think there was a misunderstanding because I think you there was a word that was like blacklisted and it happens to be in my handle. Yes. And because people were spamming your chat with like Turtle Boy, and so you blacklisted the word from the chat, and that happens to be my handle. Right. And so none of my comments appeared, and so that's why I thought I was blocked. So it was a misunderstanding.
Well, what had happened was I had reached out to you, and I didn't even go back and look at my email, but I remember when I started talking about covering Karen Reed, I reached out to you, and I want to say it was like in October of 2023. Somebody said to me something like, "You got to reach out to Turtle Boy. He knows everything about this case." And I was like, okay. So I think somehow we connected through email, and we were both really busy. And then all of a sudden you were in the pokey. And so while you were in the pokey is when I started publicly covering it in January 2024. Mm-hmm. That's when I went on with Coffindoffer on Court TV twice. She tried to make me look like a jerk and leave it to her to fuel people's fire. She's the reason I got involved in this case to the extent that I got so outraged. And she's the reason also that Olivia got involved in this case. Did you know that?
That who really? She's
yes,
the reason?
Jennifer Coffindoffer pissed us both off so badly that we decided that we really dug in.
That's how Olivia got involved, was Coffindoffer? Oh, interesting.
She told me that. And then
I'm looking back at our email. So on October 8th, 2023, I got an email from somebody by the name of Mary Lynch. and she actually CC'd both of us on there and said that she's trying to get you to take an interest in her. And then on October 9th, I emailed you for the first time, and I called you Mary. I said, "Hi, Mary. My name," because Mary Lynch is the person who recommended you to me, or me to you, whatever. And I said, "My name's Aidan Kearney from Turtleboy, blah, blah, blah. I'm interested in covering it." And then you respond and you go, "Hi, my name is actually Melanie. I'm a New York attorney." And you responded. And then, so yeah, 2 days later after that, like, so I messaged, I'm looking at the email now. I messaged you on October 10th. I said, "What's your phone number? I'll text you for a time we can speak." And you sent it to me. And then on October 11th, I woke up and the police were at my kid's bus stop. So like the next day I was arrested, and I honestly forgot about it. And you're right. And then like I went to jail, and the first time I ever watched you was in jail. Actually, people would send me, I could only watch 30-second clips at a time. They would send video clips, and I would watch it. I think you were on with Vinny and Kofin Doofus.
Yes.
And, you know, people, I think you mentioned how I was in jail, and I'm like, "Oh, cool." And then you were clearly taking the position that Karen Reed was innocent, which is rare on that channel. There's people that are honest, because that's the only honest take that there is about the Karen Reed case, is that obviously she's innocent. And so I appreciated that, because it was like honest. Like, I don't like when people get on there and they kind of, it's the only, have you noticed that it's the only case on Court TV where that happens? Like every other case, I was watching Vinny. He was just talking about the Adelson case, Don Adelson. And like, he had two people on, and everyone was normal. Like all the takes were normal. The analysis was normal. Like every case that they analyze on Court TV, people are just normal. But on the Court TV case, for whatever reason, just people come on and they're just stupid for no reason. They're just stupid.
I think eventually they just ran out of people who were willing to come on to talk about Karen Reed, because when I first went on, the way it happened was on New Year's Day that year, I was on Profiling Evil with Mike King. He did this show like Roll Call.
One. Yeah.
So he had me and Vinny on, and I had never met Vinny before, but I had been watching Vinny since like the OJ days, because Court TV was on the air for a while, then it went off. And so I was a fan of Vinny. And I said to Vinny on Mike King's show, I said, "If you ever want to talk about Karen Reed, call me." And I think 2 days later, I got a call from his producer. "Vinny wants you to come on the show and talk about Karen." And it was before I ever talked about it on my own channel. So of course I get on there and it's Coffindoffer and me.
Okay.
And thank God Peter Ellikin was on there as another voice of reason who I really like. Do you know him?
Yeah, he's friends with David. So David recommended him to Court TV, actually.
He's a good guy.
He is.
He gets it too.
He does get it.
And she started saying, you know, I said, "This is clearly not, these injuries are not from a car accident. I've handled thousands of car accidents. Clearly an animal attack to his arm." She started trying to make me look like a jerk. So after the second time of that, I went out and found Garrett Wing, and I said, "Can you come on my show and tell me that these are dog bites because I'm being gaslit?" And after that, I was like, why do I want to go on Court TV again? They're just going to come for me. Like, I didn't need the headache.
Still one of the best interviews I've ever seen. Like, I watched that in jail. I watched that whole interview I had sent to me. I wrote about it in jail, and that was so good. Like, I am so sad I didn't get to see him testify. Obviously, we won anyway, but maybe when I talk to Karen more in depth about this, that'll be one of the questions. Why didn't you call Garrett Wing? Maybe they just knew they had it in the bag. Maybe they thought it was overkill. But man, that guy is he's the most effective speaker I've ever seen. Like the way he communicates, like he was built to do that. And like seeing him on the stand would have just been an absolute pleasure. Like I wish I saw it.
I was hoping for that too. But I feel like they got it out there that these were dog bites, you know, between Dr. Lapsada and Dr. Russell and Irene Scortibello. I felt like maybe they just didn't want to give the jury too much, like season 1, you know?
Right.
They were trying to figure out a mystery.
Yeah, I think they got the point, I guess, with Dr. Russell. And the thing about the Commonwealth is they never said they weren't. Like they said they were from they said they were from, you know, Taillight, obviously that was their theory, but they didn't offer an expert that was going to get up there and say these are not dog bites. That was Jim Crosby's thing. That was going to be his thing. And they didn't call him because even Auntie Bev said that this whole molding thing is ridiculous and you can't present it in court. I mean, how absurd was that? Like we found this dog and it's Chloe, trust me, bro. and we had Chloe bite onto something, and now we have a molding of it 3 years later. It's like, what do you think that proves? And Hank, the amount of money that they wasted on this and sending people to, I mean, Buchanan claims, I almost said it. Buchanan claims that he went to Vermont and like met Chloe and did all this. It's like, how do you know? I mean, there's between German Shepherds when you see one, you know that the dog's named Cora right now, right? So it doesn't even respond to Chloe. So like, how do you know that's Chloe? What evidence do you have that's Chloe?
Well, I mean, the fact that they just pulled the plug on their entire rebuttal case pretty much tells you everything that you need to know.
Yeah, they threw in the towel. They really did. I think that they didn't do the rebuttal case because they were embarrassed that Hank it was about self-preservation. He knew the judge was going to spill the beans about the x-ray. He could not afford to do that. Like he didn't see the x-ray coming. Like he had to have known that they could do that if they wanted to. They couldn't hide that in discovery. Right. Like, but so
like where were the x-rays during the first trial? It could have been a whole different first trial.
I know. Like, yeah.
It had to be part of the medical record. It had to be part of the initial medical record when John was brought into the hospital. Did they hide the x-rays? Did they not turn them over during the first trial? Did they get lost in a drawer like Proctor's Sallyport video, and then all of a sudden they surface?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this will come out I mean, this story will go on for years. Like there will be books written about it, and that's where we'll find out the answer to some of these questions from when Karen eventually writes a book. Maybe Alan will write a book. Maybe they'll do one together. Who knows? Like, and we're just going to keep getting fed content on this for a long time. It's the story that keeps on giving. Like there is a lull now for the first time. I'm like, when I go on YouTube, there's no longer like just feeding me Karen Reed content anymore. It has died down a little bit, Except
tomorrow, Lally and Proctor have been summoned to. Are you going to go to court? I'm going to cover the case live on.
I can't make it to court, but I will be watching it, and that's a really interesting case, the Miles King case, because I wrote about Canton cover up part. Let's see, I had it pulled up here in my Canton cover up series, Canton cover up part 58. It's entitled Michael Proctor used video surveillance, cell phones, eyewitnesses in Milton murder investigation, failed to do so with Karen Reed case. And it's the story of Miles King, and that's the case that's in there tomorrow. Miles King was charged with murder in Milton, which is like right on the Milton-Boston line. So it's Norfolk County. And he appears to be guilty of sin. Like they got him a million ways to midnight because Michael Proctor did a normal police investigation in this. Michael Proctor did everything that he did not do in the Karen Reed case. He went up and down Blue Hill Avenue, which is like the main thoroughway there from Milton into Boston, and just pulled surveillance cameras on every business, every home. They got the car that drove him to and from the scene, 10 different ways. They got it. Like it's like they got him dead to rights because you did a normal police job. And like all the things they did not do in the Karen Reed case, like Michael Proctor knows how to pull surveillance video. He knows how to knock on doors and ask to look at your Ring camera video. He knows how to do that. It's not what they did do necessarily to frame Karen Reed. It's what they didn't do. I've always said that. And the Miles King case kind of shows that. And so anyway, so tomorrow's hearing obviously is about how they want to, she's trying to get this whole thing thrown out. Rosemary Scapiccio.
She's a pistol.
She's
Man, I love her.
She was actually, no offense to Tim Bradle, she was my first call when I got arrested. Like she was just too busy. She takes a lot of murder cases on. Yeah. And so because she's a fighter, man, and she's like, she knows what she's doing. And yeah, exactly. So, and I saw her on, I told them, like, I saw you on Trial 4. That's how I found out about you. And you also represented a Patriots player named Jack Jones, who got caught at the Logan Airport with a gun, got him off like real easy. Like she just it's like amazing. She's like, these lawyers who just take problematic defendants and just get them charges to go away. Like it's amazing how they do it. But so obviously I want her. But and then Tim actually found Tim like a week later because he was just a real go-getter and he had a real thing for the First Amendment. I would just liked him right away, so I hired him. So, but back to with this case tomorrow. So they're trying to get this case tossed, and he's out on bond now. Like, so his bail was $1 million, and then she got it reduced to 100,000. And last month, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, she got her, like, she's like presented all this new Rule 14 stuff that hasn't come up, all this discovery they're not getting. She's bringing up the Proctor stuff, and she files in this motion to have his bail reduced because she says he can only afford $2,500 bail, and he's in jail and he can't defend himself in jail, and he needs him out of jail. And so it got reduced to 10,000, and they got paid. And guess who the judges who reduced it to 10,000?
Doolin.
Oh,
Oh, good.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like so that was, I saw that. I'm like, oh, that's a good sign. I mean, if he's letting this guy out, who very likely, it seems, that evidence shows this man was involved in a murder. And if you go to his Instagram, I'm going to do a whole story on this. I'm actually working on. If you go to his YouTube channel, like, this guy's YouTube channel is filled with, his name is Mizzy Cash, and it's just filled with guns, drugs, money. He's been out of jail for 3 weeks. The first thing he does is go on Instagram and just, flashing $100 bills. Like, it's very obvious what this gentleman does for work. And so, the fact that Doolin could let a guy like that out on, like, if you reduce your bail to 10,000, the guy's getting out of jail. And so, that's a positive sign for me, I think, because like, he has to know I'm less dangerous than this guy. He has to know that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, so, but I made a post today, and I don't care if this is controversial. Actually, most people seem to agree with it. It's like, at this point, I with all due respect to Anna Walsh and other victims, like, I hope that the only way to get systemic change with our governor, who is ultimately the real problem here because she controls the state police. Like, the reason that Maura Healey, our governor, hasn't freaked out and like, she's not worried about Karen Reed being free because she knows Karen Reed didn't do it. Right. She knows that. She knows Karen Reed is not a danger to society. So that's why she hasn't taken more drastic steps with the state police, because whatever, she's innocent anyway. She got off, no harm, no foul.
Right.
If people like Brian Walsh start going free and Miles King start going free, right, we got a real problem on our hands. And if it's because of the state police, then we have a danger to society problem. Like, so we have a real, like, unfortunately, that's the kind of thing that it would take in order for the governor to take the drastic systemic changes that she needs to actually make.
I agree with you. I have been covering Brian Walsh extensively. I feel that they really effed up on the consent issue and fruits of the poisonous tree. And they took his phones and his devices, by the way, and returned them back to him within 18 hours. Okay. 18 hours. He consented to search communications only. They did a total extraction. They gave him his phone back the next day, and they went outside the consent. And in my opinion, because I've done a deep dive, everything after that is fruits of the poisonous tree. And if all that gets thrown out, Brian Walsh may walk free. And then you're right. Then maybe some change will begin to happen, because these guys have been doing this for decades, going outside the scope of warrants, getting their warrants by lying. Remember, they lied on the warrant to seize Karen's car in Dighton, or to search the car by saying they seized it at 5:30. They've been doing this for decades. There's never been ramifications for their behavior. And something like this, a guy like Brian Walsh goes free, and maybe people will start paying attention.
Yeah. And like, just the warrant for my house, what they had to apply to get that. A lot of people don't know this, but if you read the warrant that they got to enter my home, my car, and my devices, was that I allegedly wiretapped Buchanan in the men's bathroom at Norfolk Superior Court. I did not. I was alone in the bathroom. I made a post afterwards saying that I was just in the bathroom with Buchanan and I was asking him questions, which I did when I was in there, but I didn't tape it. And then I posted a little video of me by myself. I put it right on top of the urinal, like the camera, and I'm like smiling at it. But I'm alone, like no one else is in there with me. And so the probable cause to get the warrant to search my homes wasn't witness intimidation. It was wiretapping. It was the incident that happened in the basement with Buchanan. And they said, well, he's probably been wiretapping other people, other places. So we want to search his home. We want to search his devices. We want to search his car because he might have wiretapped people in his car too. I mean, these are the kind of lies and just nonsense that they just use to just invade your home. It's like, that's all we have as Americans is our home. It's our, our fortress from the government. It's like, that's ours. That's like
your castle. It's the most called a castle doctrine.
Yeah. It's the most precious place that you have. And it's just invaded by men with guns who I've happened to have been criticizing because I did a video in the bathroom by myself and they use that as justification to basically just raid my home. Like, it's so
who drafted that probable cause affidavit for the warrant?
Who do you think?
Was it Yuri or was it Tully?
No, it's Tully. It's all Tully. Everything's Tully. And because he's the real the snake in all this. Like, he's got his fingerprints on everything. He flew to Houston. He took that chip from Man Shannon. Like, he's everywhere. He picks people up at the airport.
Right.
Like, he's just everything that this guy is involved in. He is in direct communication with Jennifer McCabe's got him on speed dial. Lindsay Gattani's got him on speed dial. They all do this. A lieutenant, a high ranking member of the state police, the highest ranking person in that detectives unit. He has just got his fingerprints on everything and he's cold. And he's like, when he was on the stand, he was just so, he was a good witness for them. He's a bad lie. We all know he's lying, but like, as far as being able to keep a stone cold face and pretend like he's some sort of legitimate police officer, just following the rules by the books, like, he sells it pretty well. And that's what makes him so scary, is that, like, he is cold. He's very cold and he's an amazing liar.
And he's got his hands in everything. Like, and not just your case and Karen's case, but other cases that we've been following too. Like, and he's been doing this for a long, how long has he been on the force? Do you know?
Probably 20 years, I would guess.
20 plus?
He played college football with Paul. So, he's probably like 3 or 4, probably 3 years. He's probably mid 40s, I would guess, like 4. He's probably Karen's age, so that would, you do the math. He probably got on the state police in his 20s at some point. So, worked his way up. He's been at the detectives unit for quite some time. And, a guy like that, you're just like, he just sees in the fact that he did nothing to check. Like, he's Michael Proctor's boss. Like, when I was a high school teacher, like, I would never feel comfortable using the kind of language Michael Proctor did in front of my boss, like around maybe my friends or something like that. Like, that's one thing, but like around your boss, like in that group text message, and that Michael Proctor felt comfortable doing that, knowing that, like, yeah, these guys are cool with it. Like, nobody's going to say anything. Like, he just signed off on everything. And it just, he's instinctively inclined to back up Michael Proctor no matter what. And therein lies the problem.
And that's what they've been doing for decades. And that's what you were uncovering, and you were getting too close to the truth. And that's why they wanted to shut you up and put you in jail for 60 days. And we're going to get to that. But this is like your story. And I've been through, I have 20 videos on your case. I don't know if anybody's covered your case as much as I have. Going back to like the hearings from, I think my first one was like a hearing all the way back in like last September. But then we caught up on all of the, all the documents and all the things. But your case has everything that's going to make for the great movie that is going to be made, or I don't know if it's a movie or TV series that you've got a deal for. You got the honey trap, right? You got that same person using her children as a weapon against you. You got a fake pregnancy. And then when you leave there, you get in a car accident. You got the OnStar guy talking to you on the, and then there's a bolo for you on Christmas Day. Like, this thing writes itself, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that Tully was involved in setting you up.
Yep. And we got the texts between him and her, like on Christmas. And like, he's talking about he's like, if he doesn't turn himself in tomorrow, we're going to go find him. Like, we're going to send a fugitive unit after him, all this and that. And, like, she says something to him, like, he just released I posted the video on Christmas Day because there was just so much speculation out there about what had happened and domestic violence rumors and this and that. So I'm like, screw it. I'm publishing the video. I'm putting this out there. And I really thought that video would exonerate me. I really thought that when people heard that, they would realize that, when you hear her say, you can't leave. Like that. I thought that was the most convincing part. Like, I'm trying to leave.
Yeah.
And she's saying you can't. Like, bro, how could I have hit her if I'm trying to leave and she's telling me you can't leave?
It wasn't video though. It was just audio, right?
It was just
like
audio. It was just audio.
And
it was just audio.
I remember I listened to it when you first played, because I think you played it like right away on your channel and you just put it out there, like I think by itself. You didn't even comment on it. It was so triggering for me. It was so triggering because it was so clear that this woman was having a mental break. Like there is something severely wrong with her, maybe in my opinion. But her behavior and the way she was behaving and her 4 children being in the house during that time and weaponizing her children against you and the way that you met her in like the public area, right? In like the conference room. And then she tried to get you, she got you into the house by having her kid call her. Like it was all scripted. And that behind the scenes is, you know, the woman who hates you more than anyone in the world, Mafia Masshole, who I hate her nickname, so I'm just going to call her Masshole, Lindsay, Mello, and Tully on a 4-way text chain in real time. Dude, what are you going to do with all the money that you make on the civil lawsuit after this case is over?
I don't know. It's like
they can't even write a check big enough for you.
Well, that's you know, like I have a nonprofit in New York City called the Good Counsel that's kind of taken the case, but it can't really be litigated until you know, it would be dismissed if we filed something out because the charges are still pending, you know. So but the thing about that is like you got to take it to trial or you got to get the things dismissed in order to win the lawsuit. Like there can be no, you know, if they came to me tomorrow and said, look, we're going to drop all the charges. Just, you got to plead guilty to littering or something like that. And like, you will give you like, you know, it's like something, if they said something like that, like I'd be stupid not to take that. Right.
Right.
Like, but then then the civil lawsuit's out of the window, you know,
right.
Like, cause you're admitting to doing something wrong in that case. So there's a lot to consider, but honestly, like there's a million ways that this could go. The trial is years away at this point, like years, like, cause there's just so much discovery and they keep adding things to this with window intimidation.
4,000 blank pages.
4,000.
Was that a physical package of pages or was it on a thumb drive?
Digital. It was, so it was digital. So they send us this digital file that was supposedly all of Tully's communications. And it starts off pretty interesting. You're like, whoa, this is juicy. And then it just gets, you know, after like 50 pages, like then a bunch of pages with redactions start happening. And then all the blank ones. And like, I'm scrolling through the blank ones and I'm like, okay, maybe this is just a filler. Like what's happening here? And I just keep going and going and going. And there's not a single page with any words on it. It's just blank. Like what? I can't wait to hear Cosgrove's explanation for this. He probably didn't even look at it. He probably just took Brian Tully's word for it. Like he gives him a file and says, here's all my messages for, and he's like, okay, 4,007. He probably doesn't even know. Right. To be honest, I don't think this guy has any idea what he signed up for. And, you know, I don't think he understands the case that well. You know, he probably just hears witness intimidation. As a former judge, he's like, well, that's not good, because, you know, the brother counsel did a really good stream the other day about,
I watched it,
like, you know, legitimate instances of witness intimidation in Norfolk County. And they're serious so you hear the words witness intimidation. And it's like, as a judge, that has negative connotations to it, because it almost always involves violence. It's always a supplemental charge to a violent crime. Like somebody, you know, gets charged with beating up his girlfriend or something like that. And then he goes and it's like, if you testify me, I'm going to smack you again. You know, you're going to get it. And then they don't testify. Like that's witness intimidation.
Right. Or I'll kill you if you testify against me. Like a priest saying to a little boy, you tell anybody, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill your family and you're all going to go to hell.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like you try and put me in jail, I'll kill you.
Yeah. That's the plan. Yeah. It's like, I'm not even, I don't represent Karen Reed. Like I'm just a reporter. It's like, it would be one thing if I was a member of the Reed family or something looking to protect her. It's like, no, I'm literally just a journalist with no previous ties to Karen Reed, who I do believe she's innocent. And I do believe you're involved in the cover up of the murder. But I really am not, besides that, I don't have like a horse in this race. Like I'm not her brother or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I want to ask you questions. I want to ask. And like when I ask these people questions, it's always like the legitimate questions about the Google search or their behavior or whatever. And yes, it's crass. Yes, I call them cop killers at the end. It's like, but that's just a little light commentary. That's not against the law. That's not,
It's not fighting words.
yeah, it's not fighting words. I'm not telling them don't testify. You better not testify. You better say what I want you to say. I don't care what they say.
You said tell the truth, which is
Yeah.
the same thing that Cox said to Kelly Dever. Tell the
Yeah.
truth.
The right thing.
How come that's not witness intimidation, Michael Cox?
I think we know why. It's like, because it's not like what he did is not witness intimidation, and neither is I. You know what I mean? It's like by the letter of the law, it's like that's not. If we're gonna start saying that telling people to tell the truth or do the right thing is witness intimidation, then none of us are free. Everyone's getting arrested. Everyone's going to jail for this. But as we've seen, a lot of people have. There's a woman. We got video of that woman, Jill Dunmead Albritton. She is the sister-in-law of Joe Krowski Jr.
Oh.
And she yells at Karen Reed at trial 1 as she's walking into court. Karen, do the right thing. Come clean, Karen. Come clean. Do the right thing.
Mhm.
Literally, while she's walking into court, you're telling a potential witness in a murder trial how to testify. Like, come clean. Change your testimony. Say that you're guilty in order to benefit the McAlberts. Like, that's not all. But here's the thing: Karen Reed has to go to the police station and file a report and say, I feel an emotional harm for this, because that's what the McAlberts did. You actually have to suck up your pride and go to the police and say, my feelings are hurt. And most of us have too much pride to do that, but the McAlberts don't.
No. And you're the only one being charged with this law. So I've come up with a new nickname for you. You have a lot of nicknames, right? Daddy, doctor. I mean, technically I have a Juris Doctor, so I could be a doctor too. But the typical case of witness intimidation is like putting a horse's head in someone's bed. Okay. That is a warning. Do not testify or I will kill you. Here's a horse's head in your bed. Right. So I think that we should call you Don Kearney.
Don Kearney?
Like Don Kearney.
Don Kearney. Yeah. Like that's how they view me.
Vito Corleone was the Don, right? So you should be Don Kearney.
That's
because really mafia people are the only people that are charged with witness intimidation. And oftentimes it could be
Don Kearney.
Realistic. So now you could be Don Kearney.
That is literally how they paint me, though. Like as this like mafioso figure with like so much control. He doesn't even have to say it. Like they just understand, and his mob goes into action and intimidates witnesses on his behalf, and he could just do it. And it's like, dude, relax. Like I don't have that much power.
You're not responsible for other people's behavior.
No.
Right? You started a revolution because people are outraged. The reason that I became involved in this case, one of the reasons, is because I have family and friends from Norfolk County, and they have been telling me for decades how corrupt the police in Norfolk County is. Now, this goes back to like the 80s, okay? So when I heard about this case, and the first thing I heard was, a girl backed up into her boyfriend. There's ring camera footage of the incident, news at 11. I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Then when people started bringing it to my attention again, I'm like, wait a second, this is in Norfolk County? Like, that's insane. And that's what got me so interested in it, was the corruption angle.
Mm-hmm.
You exposing corruption. First of all, isn't it ironic, don't you think, that you were a history teacher and now you are making history?
We'll see. We'll see if I actually make it. We have to see this through and win it, to put it in the right. But yeah, for sure. I hope it makes history.
But I think it's already starting, because the other day there was a hearing in the Massachusetts legislature. It was a House committee hearing, and guy from the Globe testified. They're trying to enact a journalistic shield law.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
I'll send it to you because I have it. I watched the hearing last night. Massachusetts is only one of nine states that do not have a journalistic shield or privilege, where you can go to jail for not revealing a source, or, you're not allowed to do your journalism. You are doing old-fashioned reporting the way it's supposed to be done, knocking on doors, asking the hard questions. You did more of an investigation into the death of John O'Keefe than the cops. You know that. I mean, how many hundreds of articles are you up to on this?
Yeah, it's like, and I did that because I want to know. Like, that's it. I think it's really bad. Like,
Yeah.
and it comes down to that. Like, I didn't do this for Karen Reed. I did this for John O'Keefe. Like, I did this because I think it's outrageous that a man could get, I mean, Karen Reed is a interchangeable part. Karen Reed could be one of us. That's why so
Right.
many people identify with her. Right. But like, John O'Keefe is the victim here. And what they've done to him is they first they killed him. And then the police themselves made sure that the people who killed him got away with that. That offends me. I can't tell you how much that offends me. And that's why I'm out there doing what I do, because I'm offended. And I'm just like, I am outraged because they're treating us like we're stupid too. Like, we can all see what's happening here. And we're like, what else can we do? Like, we've expressed our outrage online. We've tweeted about it. We've written articles. We've done all that. What else can we do besides that, other than show up in person and protest, right? And make our voices heard? Like, I don't know if that will change anything, but that's kind of like what protesting is all about. It's like the last recourse for Americans to make their voices heard, is like gathering in the town square and making noise and holding picket signs and just saying, we are outraged by this and we want you to do something about it. You might not, but we're going to be out here making noise if you don't. And that's criminalized in Massachusetts now. That's insane.
Well, the fact that you have like four picketing charges still.
Yes.
4 picketing charges. I mean, isn't that like what our country was built on? Holding up signs, like, pass the school budget, whatever. Like, the fact that you're charged with picketing because of that rolling rally is mind numbing to me. So, I mean, I had to pull up the statute because I was like, how could this like be illegal?
It's a misdemeanor. Yeah. And when Tully tells me the tape of him arresting me in my garage there, and he's telling me the charges, and I'm like, so what are the charges again? He's like, 8 counts of witness intimidation, 4 counts of picketing. I go, picketing?
Yeah.
Picketing is illegal? Like, I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I tweeted about this today too. There's a bunch of kayakers out in Maine, outside of Justice John Roberts' summer home right now, who have like had like a flotilla. Like, there's like 100 of them, and they're out there protesting the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court at his house. Okay. And it's like, that's legal.
Yeah.
Right. And okay, that's fine. But like, so John Roberts is okay to protest because you don't like the decisions he's making in court, but Jennifer McCabe is not. Michael Proctor is not. Elizabeth Proctor is not. Like, that's crazy. That why is Jennifer McCabe more protected than the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court? Makes no sense.
That's insane. And the remaining charges, I think the picketing ones are Jen and Matt McCabe, Brian Albert, and Juliana Nagel. Like, so I guess did the ones against Michael and Elizabeth Proctor both get dismissed?
There was never a picketing on Elizabeth Proctor. There was only a picketing on Michael. Elizabeth does not qualify for the picketing statute because she is not a witness. She does qualify for the felony statute because she is a family member of a witness, and that is covered under the statute for 13B, not 13A. So
going past going past Jen and Matt McCabe's house and saying whatever it is that you said with a couple of people who were nobody called the police during this rolling rally.
We got the call logs to the Canton police. There wasn't a single call to the Canton police that entire day. Nobody. It was a nice day. It was a lovely day. We had fun. Like, nobody got hurt. There was no threats. A lot of women and children. It's a beautiful Sunday, and like, everybody had fun that day and nobody got hurt. We were outside each house for probably 7 minutes. I got on my megaphone and I basically said, this is the home of Michael Proctor. Michael Proctor lied about what time he towed Karen Reed's car. Michael Proctor, planted tail light. Like, I just read my list of grievances, like kind of like the cliff notes of who Michael Proctor was. At no point did I was like, this guy's a scumbag and we need to get it. Like, nothing like that happened. Like, it's like I just said what they all did, and then we went and then we got bored.
The airing of the grievances.
It was the airing grievances, like Festivus. And so we got out of there and we just went, and it was like nothing happened. And then 3 months later, I'm charged with picketing, and I asked Tully, I'm like, wait a minute, but I wasn't alone that day. Is everyone else getting charged too? And he goes, we'll see. Okay, a couple years later, it's still just me. So it's interesting that whole thing was a crime but I'm the only one charged. It's kind of like the Raul Valle case. Like this crime occurred, but only one person is responsible for it somehow. Like,
because you're too effective and because you were getting too close to the truth. And so, you know, you got to start thinking about what your speech is going to be when you win an award for this, like a Pulitzer or I can't call it a Peabody Award. You know, there's probably going to be an award in here somewhere. So, you know, start thinking about your thank you speeches and who you want to thank, because
I will just have the biggest sense of relief when these charges go away, or I'm acquitted, or however this ends. It is going to be the biggest load off my shoulders, because like when you're on bail, it's like you just think differently. You're always this close to having your bail revoked. They've tried it 4 times and they were successful once. And it's like anything they want, they can and it's just like the trolls love it too. Like it's scary that there's like teams of people out there, like people like K. Peter, who just all day, they spend their entire day towards just just clipping. It's like I could laugh at them all I want, but they're actually dangerous. Like they have a direct line to the police, a direct line to the DA's office, and they just send them, oh, here's what he said on this show, this is a violation, like lock him up. And we're dealing with bad faith police officers and district attorneys, and at any moment they could be like, yeah, I mean, they tried to revoke me my bail on March, I think it was 6th, or no, March 18th. They tried to revoke my bail because I made an off-color statement about Elizabeth Proctor performing oral sex on her husband. Okay. And
you think like that really happens ever?
Well, it's
maybe on his birthday.
Is it dirty?
Maybe on his birthday.
Maybe. We'll see. It's pathetic if true. He's gaining a little weight, but so we
have him as a mascot. Go ahead, keep talking.
Yeah, it's like, so like that. Yeah, that's that's dirty. It is what it is, but it's not a crime. And the fact that you're trying to put me in jail for that is crazy. And then on April 30th, they tried to put me in jail because I made the statements about Brian Tully. I got a little carried away on my show, and I said what I hoped happened to him. Not like that I'm going to do this, or you should do this, or something like that. It's like, yeah, if I found, like when Nicholas Garino got hit by a car about a year ago, and my initial reaction was, that's kind of funny. Like, I'm sorry. Like I kind of liked hearing that. It's not a crime.
No.
To like when bad things happen to bad people. You're allowed to like that. And that's all I was saying.
And if you defame someone or you harass, it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter, right? So like, why are we weaponizing this ridiculous witness intimidation statute against one guy, you, right? You're the guy, because they had to find something to charge you with, in my opinion. They reverse engineered it, just like they gave Trooper Paul a set of facts and said, okay, now figure out how it happened, reverse engineer it. They had to find a reason to shut you up. And, you took one for the team. They originally sentenced you to 90 days and you wound up doing 60. When they let you out after 60, well, how soon after you were already in there did you figure out that they were going to let you out after 60? Was it just like one day they were just like, all right, you can go?
Yeah. After a few days, people online were talking about this, lawyers and other people who knew what they were talking about. And they realized that they're not allowed to do that, because in Massachusetts, you can have your bail revoked out of district court for 90 days, but out of superior court, it's only 60 days.
Oh.
And luckily, a couple days before I was arrested, I was indicted. So had I not been indicted and my charges were still in district court, they could have put me in for 90. But because I had been indicted, they were only allowed to do it for 60. But that requires we had to do an SJC thing and appeal to them.
So you had to take it up on appeal.
Yeah, so we did. Yeah, that was very expensive. And so I appreciate all the donos to the defense fund.
Keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming.
That was not in the original contract with Tim Bradle. That was a very expensive trip to Medfield I took there.
Right.
And so so I forgot. Oh yeah. So basically that was Justice Kafker. That was the only thing he could do. That wasn't like, he didn't have a choice. He had to let me out after 60. And it's funny, we actually applied. Well, it's not funny, but like we applied to get out on the earlier than 60 on the basis that he's not dangerous and bail revocation is for dangerous. And that Judge McCollum couldn't explain how I was dangerous. And so we appealed it, and then he sent it to Judge McCollum, and he gets to respond to this. And his response, and I still can't believe, and this is why I hate this guy. His response was that probable cause was shown that the defendant assaulted a pregnant woman. He actually said that. And I'm like, excuse me? Like, what? We're still doing this?
Right.
We're still pretending this is a what? And so that's not like a harmless lie to say you're pregnant. First of all, it's a different charge. Assault and battery on a pregnant woman is a completely different charge than assault and battery, which I was not charged with. And you should know that as a judge. But yeah, you know, so whatever.
It was fake pregnancy. The sonogram was years old, and that's all. Yep. The receipts are there. Bettero and Bradel do nothing without receipts. So
yes, exactly.
If they don't want to believe you, they can believe Bradel and Bettero. And, we watched the trial. We watched the trial, the Lindsay trial, and you know, I've always thought that Cosgrove was just kind of like, you know, I don't know, like do. But his evil really came out when he started cross-examining some of your witnesses. Oh, like there was all of a sudden like a switch flipped, and he had some evil in him. And I was
with Meredith, when he just jumped down, he's like, surprise! Everyone's like, what the hell? Where'd that come from? Where did that come from? Surprise! And then every one of my witnesses, he asked them, because we had all these people that were there and wrote affidavits or signed affidavits saying that I was not yelling anything at her or anything like that. And he asked them all the same stupid question. And that was, did you write this affidavit? They're like, yeah. Did you write this first sentence here that I am a citizen of the United States and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, of course they didn't write that part. That's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's the same thing they did with Alessi and Dr. Russell.
Yes.
When they were like, it was like, did you write this whole thing? Well, yeah, he did a little editing because that's how affidavits work, right?
Attorneys always draft the affidavit.
Exactly.
I never would have my expert witness drafting their own affidavit. They don't know the format.
Right.
I draft it. They look at it. They make their corrections. They tell me if anything is wrong, and then I sign it.
And lawyers know that. And lawyers know that. So it's in such bad faith to suggest that like something nefarious has happened.
And what was even more stupid about it is it was a bench trial. So there was no jury to impress. Like the judge knew.
The judge knew.
The judge isn't stupid.
That's why we went with the bench, because I mean, Pomeroy gets it. That guy was not going to do me any favors, but he also has no time for the bullshit. That's kind of how his courtroom works. He's always just like, he cuts people off when they ramble too much witnesses. He's like, and you're like, no, that's it. Stop. Done. It's yes or no. Good. Stop. Like next. And so he just gets it. And we were like, because we were debating whether or not to go judge or jury. And we were looking at the judicial assignments for that week. And we're like, if it's Pomeroy, we want him, but we don't want McCollum. He's the guy to send me to jail. So he wasn't there that week. And then somebody else was in that we'd never heard of before. And we're like, if we get that judge, I don't know. And, you know, they lawyers always want to go with the bench trial. I've noticed.
Sometimes some cases are better for a jury, obviously. You know, if the law's not on your side, it's better to go.
Well, according to them, that there's more that can be presented in a bench trial. Like there's stuff has to be, you know, like there has to be motions that this can be presented to evidence or not. Like that video of Frankie of her and Frankie's car, like that was the best. That was the best. That was the most important thing because it shows that like I'd seen that video. And that's the reason I wasn't going to my car.
Dude,
she's there. What if she's there?
She's dangerous. Like the fact that you were locked up instead of her is beyond all comprehension because she's the one who's dangerous. Ask Frankie. But for those of you who don't know, there was a trial and it had to do with your potentially violating the restraining order that Lindsay had against you because she was invited to come to court. Paul O'Keefe invited her to come to court. It's a little, you know, it's a little muddy about how she got there, but you know, maybe the masshole said, "Oh, Paul, you have to bring Lindsay to court," and they brought Lindsay to court so that you would have to leave. And this was like 3 days after you got out of jail, right?
Yeah, 3 days after I got out of jail. Keep in mind, I'm like traumatized by this woman. Like she scares the shit out of me because, like you said, she's dangerous and she's such a not a good liar, but like can lie with such a straight face and not think anything of it, and has no moral or ethical qualms about putting someone in jail for something she knows you didn't do. Like that's scary. People like that are very dangerous, that know how to weaponize the law, have experience in this. I don't. And so she scares me. And so when I first, and you know, I I had heard reports that she might be there around 1:55 because Tom CPU was streaming it. And then someone sent me a screenshot from Tom CPU stream and was like, is this her? And I looked at it and I'm like, no, that can't, no.
Totally used her. They totally used her to get you back in jail.
I'm like,
I mean, it's so obvious.
I'm like, please tell me this isn't happening right now. I'm like, no, this can't be happening. Like, no, she doesn't know them. Like, she's not friends with them. How is she here right now? This can't be happening. And so I'm like sitting in court, and I'm like, I keep looking at the door, like, please don't come in. Please don't come in. Please don't come in. And then Meredith alerts me. She's looking at the door and she goes, she's here. We have to go. And I'm like, fuck. And I just stood up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, guys, I have to leave. Like that was the most, it's like, it wasn't enough to just put me in jail for 60 days. She wasn't done punishing me. She's like, yeah, I did that to you. And now I'm going to take other things from you that you like. You like covering the Karen Reed case. So I'm going to take that from you because I can.
But it wasn't just her. Think about who set that up. Think about who set that up. The McCabe's, the Alberts, Paul O'Keefe. He can plausible deniability. He testified in that trial, by the way, you guys, if you didn't watch it. Yeah. It streams back in my Aidan Kearney playlist.
He told her that he admired her strength. He testified that I told her I admired her strength. Are you kidding me, Paul?
Right. And he was asked, like, do you like Aidan Kearney? He's like, no, I don't like him. Yeah, I mean, he was like,
he was honest.
but he was so mad that he had to miss a day of the Karen Reed trial to go across the street or wherever the hell that court is. But I mean, it wasn't just her. They used her to try and get you incarcerated more because they were probably really mad that you only did the 60 instead of the 90. And they were all hoping that you were going to be in there for 90. Mm-hmm. So it was a setup. It was a setup.
A complete setup. And they were hoping that I didn't just get up and leave. I mean, they were hoping that because Kate Peter had been charged with that. This is how I know she was the mastermind because she came to my arraignment in Stoughton District Court when I was arrested. She was sitting there and Lauren Murray showed up, who has an order on her because Lauren wants to support me. And Lauren shows up, walks into the courtroom. I'm standing up there in cuffs, so I see it happen. I see Lauren walk right by her. That's your time to get up and leave. If you're Kate, you have to leave. Sorry. Right. Okay. And unlike her, she's showing up there because she's actually there to support me. She knows me. So she has a reason to be there. Kate has to leave in that situation, but she refused to leave. So Kate ended up getting charged with a violation of an order. And so this is fresh in Kate's mind. And she's like, oh, we'll use this against him now. Right. Well, like she orchestrated the whole thing.
Light bulb went off in her head. Ding, ding, ding.
Like Paul O'Keefe wants to talk to me, Lindsay says in a text message to her.
Yeah,
like
I remember that.
She was the whole broker between them. And I guarantee you it was her idea. They all willingly took part in it. That's not to minimize her role in this. Like any one of them could have said, no, this is not the appropriate place for it. This is a murder trial. This is disrespectful to the legacy of John O'Keefe to turn his, pretrial hearing into a Jerry Springer episode. Like that's what Paul should have said, but they all willingly participated in it. And if you notice Jennifer McCabe's and Chris Albert's face when they walked into court that day, it was like they were on Prozac. Huge smiles, like they knew exactly what they were doing. We are about to kick Turtleboy out. Look at this toy we brought with us.
They were giddy. And I remember those text messages that came out and maybe it was, I don't know, in one of your motions or maybe in a Barrow letter where Lindsay was like, Paul O'Keefe wants to talk to me. And then there was another one where she was like, oh, I'd love to talk to Jen McCabe, or, oh, I'd love to have dinner with so-and-so. Like she was so anxious.
Gretchen Voss. She was like Gretchen Voss.
That's what it was.
I'll definitely interview with her. I'll tell
happily.
Like, what the hell? Yeah.
It's like their hatred. You know what they say? First of all, it's the bitches that'll get you every single time. It's the bitches that'll get you. Their hatred for you just is so much greater than their love of anything else. It's like, it's wild how that can drive people sometimes. And it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's why all these people have teamed up together. They never liked each other before. It's weird. It's wild. It's been weaponized against you. And here's what I see happening. I see either they are going to be so potentially not just embarrassed when these text messages are unimpounded. What did Kim call them? It's the unimpound town. Unimpound town. When unimpound town happens, Nurse Kim, love you, girl. She's such a queen. She sent me a text before the show. She's like, I'm so I'm like, no, yours was the best. How can I follow you? Unimpound Town, when Unimpound Town happens, and you know what's in those text messages, I do not. I have heard you say that they are more damning than anything that we have seen yet with regard to Michael Proctor. And I'm in my mind thinking, okay, it's clear that they tried to set you up. It's all in there. Who knows what it is? But in my mind, there's two things at play here. Either those text messages are going to be so damning to the district attorney, Proctor, and people in the office of the district attorney, because Proctor and all of his cronies are all part of that office, right? And so they may drop the charges against you because that could really implicate them in some criminal things and some civil liability. But you know, how strong is the pressure of the McCabe's and the Alberts on that office? You know, who's going to win that power struggle?
Yeah, but you've seen Kerry Roberts' recent statements to Fox News. They're not getting their phone calls returned anymore.
No, they're ghosted.
And so, as you're going to see with a lot of these messages that are going to come out, the word something is used frequently when it comes to me. Like, you need to do something. And it's like you mentioned this earlier, how they were like, they reverse engineered it. They were like, well, we got to get him. So it ends with him being arrested. The question is, what law are we going to kind of manipulate? Find a statute. Exactly. Like, and so when Jennifer McCabe tried to get an order on me on May 30th of 2023, she tells the judge, is there something you can do to get him to stop blogging about me? Something, like, make something up. This is the general sentiment that they all have, as you're going to see in a lot of these messages, is that, like, this is upsetting to me. Like, I don't like this. Like, this Google search, you have to do something about the Google search. You have to do something. You have to do something to, like, reverse this narrative. And by the way, we also have messages between Brian Tully and Jessica Hyde. And we now know,
she reached out to him. I remember he reached out to her. She did testify that in season 1, right?
We have the whole we have the entirety of how that conversation began, everything in it. And remember that on I write my first story on April 18th. It causes a big outrage. Jennifer McCabe gets very upset about this because she's like painted as this villain. All of a sudden, everybody knows who she is. All of a sudden, it's all crumbling down. So you can imagine the texts that she's sending to the Norfolk DA's victim witness advocate, Steve Nelson. And then on April 20th, the DA's office issues a press release saying that the defense's expert interpreted the data wrong on the phone, and we are going to show that they are wrong. So it sounded pretty confident on April 20th, right? That they must have had an expert lined up, right? By then?
Right.
Except they don't, because the communications with Jessica Hyde begin much after that. So, like, they had already determined what the answer was. And then they go expert shopping until they find one who gives them the receptive audience that they were hoping to get. And when you see these messages, it's so damning, all this stuff that's going to come out in these messages. And they want this stuff impounded because it's going to show that the whole Karen Reed trial was a farce, that Kerry Roberts and Jennifer McCabe were much, much, much more than just witnesses in this. They were, they had nicknames, that were given to them by the DA's office. Yeah. And, that they were very, 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 very involved in the persecution of Karen Reed, and then the complete fabrication of the charges against me. And the Morrissey stuff too, man, he's a busy beaver, man. Wow. That guy. And there's like Tim said in court, there are political implications to this, political shifts, I think, that he caused it. And boy, was that an accurate way to describe, what could potentially happen to Michael Morrissey when these communications come out.
That's what I'm saying. What was his email address again?
It was like an iCloud.com email.
It was like banana something.
Like
Does
big
chat, remember?
Big crazy, sexy or something, like, I don't know. Like,
it was like busy banana. Yeah, I don't know, something with a banana in it, I think. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, because these unimpounded text messages, when they get there, could have huge financial implications in civil cases by both you and Karen Reed against the county, the state, for malicious prosecution and fraudulent and all of this stuff.
She doesn't know about them. I messaged her about a couple of them, and I said, did you know? I assume she had these in discovery. I'm like, did you? So this is crazy that Morrissey said this. And she said, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, oh, you don't know. Oh, so she's going to find out as well. She doesn't know about all these.
Oh, wow. Because you can't release them. You can't share them with them.
I can't share them with them. Nope.
And, but there will come a time. Comes a time. Cheesy banana. That was his email. Cheesy banana. Thanks, Kelly. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying maybe because of the financial implications and the criminal implications on some of those people, they may just let you go. But we'll have to see.
That would be nice. I could use a break. You know, right? It's like I really would like these charges to go away. It's a huge, you know, the sword of Damocles hanging over my head. Yeah. And I'll feel an immense. I felt halfway after the acquittal of Karen Reed. I felt like I was halfway there. You know, that was a great. It felt so good.
It's coming. It's coming.
You know, it felt so. I was dreaming about the day that Karen Reed would be acquitted. It was everything I dreamed it would be and more. Being inside that courtroom when it happened was the most unforgettable, intense experience I've ever had, and I'll never. Whew,
so emotional.
Oh my God! You kind of.
I was like,
I was crying. Like I was like, dude, I was not the reaction that I thought I would have. I thought I was going to be like jumping for joy, and instead I was just stoic and like in shock, like almost when it happened, like because you're like when I first heard the words "not guilty for murder," I'm like going like that, you know. I'm like I was trying not. I didn't move. I didn't budge because I kind of expected not guilty, especially after the juror questions for one, and then the big ones coming next, and you're just like, and then when you heard not guilty for that, then I was just like, and then I didn't even think about the third one because the third one you knew was going to be not guilty at that point, and you're like, oh, and it's like right before they said not guilty on the third one, that's when you hear the crowd explode. I've watched that video more times than you can imagine.
So good.
It gives me chills every time I watch it, and it just never gets old. And then there's the exits from the courthouse, and coming out right after DiPietro was like the awesomest thing. Like, it was the awesomest thing. Cool. And you know, and then watching Karen's eggs, it's just like it was the most.
And then Yannetti with his arms up at the end, and then all of the, you know, every time I watch a reaction, but Next Witness has been doing some really good reaction videos. And what's cool about her videos is she puts like everyone on the screen at the same time, even though we were all in different streams. She puts like all of our faces on as we're all reacting to the same testimony and stuff.
I got to see that.
Yeah, Next Witness is the name of the channel.
Next Witness,
and and she's doing, and so there a lot of it was law tubes. You're in some of them too, and reacting to testimony and stuff. There was one I just watched the other day that was just dropped. I think it was Welcher's. I think it was Welcher's Cross, and you were on it, and we're all on it. And then she'll put us all on the screen together, watch it, reacting to the same thing. And it's so funny to watch how all of us had like a lot of the same reactions. But every single time I watch a reaction video of the verdict, I am brought to tears again. Because it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know if you ever did any theater when you were like at any point in your life.
I was an actor when I was younger.
You too?
My mom always signed us up for that. The Worcester County Light Opera. Singing. And then
when the play is over, there's such like a, you know, you get really sad when it's over. Because you've been with these people for so long and rehearsing, and then you go through all the shows together and then it's over.
Yep.
And it's like this feeling, that's the only way I can think to describe the feeling is that we've been all in this together for so long, and it's like, okay, now what?
But it's not over because like my charges, you know what I mean? And it's
no, we're freeing you next. Don't worry, we got you.
So I'm so happy that that the reaction to my after Karen, I was always wondering what it would be like. I'm like, will I be left behind? Will I be forgotten? Like how? And I'm so happy to see that like the YouTube community has really taken up this cause. And now that Karen's charges are gone and more people are learning about my case and taking an interest in it. And the more you learn about it, the more you realize what Will realized. Like Will did a deep dive like the day after I was arrested. He actually read through all the charging documents. He did like 5 streams on it and he broke it down. And it was just like, oh, wow, this is such lies. Like all they're doing is taking out of context things he said. And they're making it sound like you meant this, but actually it's pretty obvious he meant this if you actually watch the entire clip. And it's just like they have turn me into Don Kearney. Like they make me sound like I am like this dangerous crime boss, this like Rico guy. I mean, like the crazy shit that we laugh about Grant Smith Ellis saying and people like him, like noodles for brains, like, yeah, that's funny and all, but that is actually what Michael Morrissey's office is saying about me. That's what Robert Cosgrove is saying about me in court, that I'm like this mastermind, intimidating witnesses and like scaring them. I'm like, dude, have you ever watched my show? It's not that serious.
Satire.
Like, what exactly?
Satire.
I'm doing impressions and like I've been doing this for years. I do raps. Like I'm a comedian.
It's
like
a rant.
Judge Doolin gets it. He's like, so he's like a satirist, right? This guy's just messing around, making jokes. Okay.
Like, yeah. What was that about again? The window. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. He made a point to say that. I thought that was pretty good. He wanted Cosgrove to, because he knew exactly what that was about, but he wanted Cosgrove to say it just so he could kind of laugh at, oh yeah, the window thing. Right. Okay,
he's
cool.
like, Mr. Betterow, Mr. Betterow. I hope he. What I don't like about Norfolk County is the way they shuffle around their judges like priests. You know, they're like you might have Doolin this time, but then next time you don't know. You might have Sisitsky, which reminds me,
he's good,
of that day when you had that hearing. And I made an Instagram reel. I put when the Saints go marching into it. You had that hearing with Brennan, and they were trying to get. I don't remember what they were trying to get. Your text messages with Karen, maybe. And Karen's team was in the basement of the courthouse. They didn't know the hearing was happening. They were watching YouTube, and you and Tim Bradle were sitting at your defense table. And was it Judge Sisitsky? It was on the bench, because for some reason it wasn't in front of Cannoni. It was like a Rule 17 motion. And they were watching in the basement, and they all came up and they marching in. They were so mad. I forget who the judge was. Do you guys remember?
It was supposed to be Doolin was the one on the thing, but he was on vacation that week. And so Sisitsky was kind of like the substitute judge, if you will, brought in for that. And he was fine. I thought he was great. I thought he was direct and to the point. And, we shut Hank down. He did not give Hank what he wanted.
Brennan was like, what are they doing here? It was like the Californians from SNL, right? What are you doing here?
Yeah. Like
it was letting them in here.
It was under her case. Like that. The filing wasn't even in my case. It was in her case. It's her prosecutor. Her prosecutor's the one that wants something here. They have so we had discussed this the night before about how this was going to work. And I'm like, so are we sitting together at the table? And it was her understanding that, yes, we are. And I'm like, well, we're going to need a bigger table. Cause then I'm like, so how are we all going to fit? And then we got there and they were told by the court officers, no, you can't come in. And so it was just me and Tim. And then they're watching it on YouTube and it's quite clearly about their case. And so they're like, fuck that, just kick the door in. They were like, we're not like me and Bradle's face when they come in. We're just like, we're loving it. Like, this is like wild entertainment. Like what are we sitting? What is happening right now? Like, this is crazy. This is wild. Just
so good.
That was so
like one of the best moments.
Yeah.
There's so many good moments.
That made the trolls so mad. They were just like, oh, she's so entitled. She thinks she can just come in and do this. It's her case. Like, if anything, I'm the one who shouldn't be there. Like,
if they had filed that motion under your case number, and I don't even remember, I think it was like they wanted text messages between you and Karen, right?
Yeah, they wanted all communication and they wanted messages between her attorneys and me.
Yeah.
And
good luck, Brennan, getting a job.
He shut that down.
Yeah.
And because they got, first of all, they have my phone. They went through it. We found out without telling us with the Michelle Littlefield thing. And we found out that they had read all of our messages and spoiler alert, there's nothing in there the least bit incriminating. Like all the messages that Karen Reed and I had on text message were all about, like, I went through my phone extraction, read them all. And 90% of them are her sending me links to Canton select board meetings when Chris Albert's getting roasted and us laughing about it. Like she sends me a link. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he's getting destroyed. This is hilarious. And she's like, I don't know why he subjects himself to this. And like, we're just laughing about it. Like we're just laughing at Rita Lombardi roasting Chris Albert. Like that's 95% of her
Rita's so good. Yeah.
And so like they had nothing. Like they thought they were going to get some sort of gold mine. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't intimidate witnesses. I didn't consider what I was doing intimidating witnesses. Karen Reed didn't consider what I was doing intimidating witnesses. We didn't plan anything. She doesn't, I don't get her approval for anything that I do. I do whatever I want. So this idea that she's like the puppet master
All right.
telling me what to do is just so absurd.
Have they met you?
Yeah, exactly. Like she can like liking what I'm doing is not a crime.
Mhm.
Directing, if they were saying they was directing the witness intimidation, that would be one thing. But like the fact that she enjoys this is not a crime. Like, of course she enjoys this. Like, why wouldn't she enjoy this?
Every now and then.
Yeah.
God.
Because like they got a text message with Yannetti in which he's like, hey, tomorrow at court, don't be offended if I don't shake your hand. We want to have some public distance, between two of us, but just know that we love your show. We fully support you, something like that. And they use that in a filing as like evidence that David Yannetti supports witness intimidation because he says that he likes the show. Like, it's just so absurd.
They even tried to indict you both for conspiring to commit witness intimidation. And that grand jury did not indict the ham sandwich of Turtleboy and Karen Reed.
That's
they
crazy.
Didn't fight on that.
That's crazy to think how close she was to being locked up for her trial.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the ham sandwich thing, like anyone can get indicted. You don't really need much to get indicted. And that a grand jury would look at that and they were like, yeah, no, because they don't have anything. Like they brought, what did they bring to the grand jury? Well, they talked on the phone 189 times. Okay. And what did they talk? Do you know the substance of their conversation? No. Because they just shows them talking. Like people are allowed to talk on the phone. They could be friends. Like she says in the documentary, like her and I were just in a place every day where we just talked about the case, and we just talked about the facts, and she was interested in my analysis and thoughts, and I'm interested in stuff. I'm fascinated with this. Like we developed a friendship kind of, I don't know what you call it, but like we just talked about the case 90% of the time. And then a couple other times we were just talking about personal shit, like life, whatever. Like, and that's not a crime. It's not a crime. It's just crazy.
I mean, anybody who is into the Karen Reed case knows that if you don't have anybody else to talk to about it, you go crazy. That's why there's so many people watching all the time, because maybe their family members don't know about the case and they're not as invested as everyone who's been watching this worldwide for so long. How many calls did Kerry Roberts make to the
I know.
the victim witness advocate?
Oh, way too many.
She got questioned about that. I forget how many.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you, because we went over this the other day and there was some buzz that maybe Steve Nelson was at
That's not him.
Caitlin and Tristan's wedding. Okay, that wasn't him.
That
was one question I had. So that he was not there. Was Kerry Roberts at the wedding? Do you know?
I didn't see her, but I mean, I don't see why she would be invited. I mean, that's kind of a weird, because the two people getting married, Tristan Morris and Caitlin. It's not like Caitlin's friends are Kerry Roberts, right? I mean, that would be weird.
Well, because
at that point, Jessica Hyde might as well be invited. Like,
well, she might have been there in the back. Who knows? But did Tristan ever get his watch from Dave Portnoy?
I don't know.
Because
it was a waste.
That was genius branding, really. The guy who can't tell time wearing a watch.
It was.
The brick watch taught me how to tell time. I mean, it would have been great, but they didn't call him to testify. So if he did get the watch, it was a waste.
Yes, but at least he got a free watch out of it.
Yeah.
So good for him, I guess.
I always wonder, what makes people successful, like how they got to where they are. So what was it like? What was little Aiden like? What was little Aiden like?
Little Aiden like?
Yeah, like how did you tell me about your growing up? Like, so I'm the oldest in my family, so I was very outspoken and rebellious, and like I had to break my parents in for the rest of the kids. And what was it like?
Yeah, my mom told Boston Magazine that I was more work. I'm the oldest of 7, and she said that it was more work than the rest of the other 6 combined. Like I was just a handful. Like, she told me the story like when I was 2 years old. Like whenever I wanted to be naughty, I told her, "Mommy, go to kitchen. Daddy, go to kitchen." And it was just very obvious I was going to do something shady, like that I wasn't supposed to do, like the second they left the room. And so like I was always like that, like just getting into trouble. I got in trouble in school a lot when I was younger. Just nothing like serious, just like stupid shit, like skipping a class, or like just doing something, like being silly. I just always, my mom got calls from the principal frequently. I got in-house suspension a lot in high school.
Did you go to public high school?
Yeah,
or
I went to
Catholic
public.
high
I
school?
went to public high school in the Worcester Public Schools. So it was like a really diverse, interesting like it really kind of made me who I am, because it was a tough school. Like it was a tough Worcester South's like no joke. Like there was in 1989, somebody was stabbed and murdered inside the high school.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like a real inner city school. Really is a rough population, you know. But I was in good classes because, like, you know, I came from a good home, and you know, education was important. Even though I like to fuck around a lot, like I still, you know, like my mom wouldn't put up with bad grades. So
Did
like,
you get, so you got good grades?
no, I mean good enough. Like I
Right.
got like a solid B- average, like which she was not happy about. But like if I was left to my own devices, I would have got all D minuses, you know. So like there was, you know, I was gonna get yelled at if I was sneaky. Like I'd always, is there homework tonight? And I said this actually at my mother's funeral. Like this is one of the things I mentioned, that like I remember one time she would always ask me like, you have homework tonight? No homework. They know, oh, no homework. And then every time report cards would come out or progress reports would come out, remember, like, and you got to show her the report card on the way home in the station wagon. And here it is. Like she demands to see it. And she sees like D+ in science and comment like does not pass in homework. And just, I remember her just turning the car around and I thought you didn't have homework, and then just drives back to the school and marches me up by my ear up to the science teacher. And it's just like, and has a sit down, and the science teacher opens up her book and shows a whole bunch of zeros. I thought you didn't have homework. I thought you didn't, like every time. So I was always up to something. But I got by, you know, I was never really a good student. But I had my mom on me and like on my ass. So like I couldn't mess around too much. Like all my brothers and sisters, a lot of them got like straight A's. They all went to Notre Dame.
Oh, wow.
I went to I went to UMass, which is fine. UMass is a great school, and I loved it there. And I had a great time going there, and I got a good education there. But I graduated with a 2.08. That was my GPA coming out of college.
Nobody needs to know.
C's and D's, get degrees. That's what I said. And so I got out of there, and I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's not like I'm applying to get into business school or anything like that. So I'm just going to become a teacher anyway. So it doesn't really matter what my grades are, as long as I get the diploma. And I did. And I started teaching for a couple of years in Worcester at this kind of reform school for kids who have been kicked out of the Worcester public schools. Yeah, it was, every day kids would just come in. And so each Worcester public school got to kick out 10 kids of their choice, like the 10 worst kids. And they sent them to my school called Fanning.
So is that like the alternate, like what I would call the alternative school? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. It's the alternative school. Yeah. And so like I'm in there, and every day, like the kids, like you're dealing with a real rough population, and kids just tell you, 8th graders telling you just like, fuck off. You're a bitch ass. You're a bitch ass. I got called the N-word all the time. And like just kids that are really emotionally disturbed. You never know who's having a bad day. And just, you had to write kids up a lot and send them to the timeout room, the transition room, as we called it. It wasn't a real teaching job. Like it takes like
a special kind of teacher to be able to handle that day in and day out. Like that's emotionally taxing on you as well.
Well, I wasn't that guy. So that's why I wanted to do real teaching. Like I didn't want to do just like, it wasn't real teaching. It was just like a starter job, you know? So like I wanted to be a real teacher. And so I got my kind of feet wet there. And then I started applying to other schools, and I got an offer at Leominster and at Shepherd Hill Regional in Dudley Charlton. And I went with that one. I just had a real good vibe with the principal there, and had a good interview and everything. And I started teaching there, and I loved it. I really liked teaching, and not to brag, but I was pretty good at it. You know, like I had a real good vibe with the students. Anybody that took my class knew that like, he's tough. Like I was actually a tough teacher. He's like, but you're going to learn history with him. That was like my rep, is that like, he's tough and he can be a dick sometimes, but he's going to get you to learn history, whether you like it or not. Like, he's not going to let you sleep. He doesn't let anyone fall behind. Like, he just is going to be on you. He's going to be up your ass, and you might not like it. Sometimes you might find that him being an asshole and think he's picking on you or whatever, but like, he's going to get you to learn it, period.
Was it middle school or high school?
High school, 11th grade. So it was a really good grade, a really good grade too. That's the best grade to teach, because they're more emotionally mature at that age. And it's also the most important year for college. So they have to do well in your class. There's like a lot of pressure to get good grades in your class. And it was a good school. So it's also competitive for like class rank too, you know, which I don't even think schools do anymore because it like hurts people's feelings if you're not number one. But
they don't do ranks anymore. That's true.
Yeah. So like, it was it was a really good experience. I met a lot of awesome kids, and I saw a bunch of them at the Can I Read stuff, like many. A girl by the name of Kelly Delaney, who I see in the chat a lot. I saw her down there. Another girl named Katie Joseph I saw down there. Another girl named Jen Ide I saw down there. I saw a whole bunch of students there all the time. And, you know, to see me in a different, they still follow me in this, they see what I do now and they follow it. And, like I see comments now on like, when I went on, when I went on Ryan Grimm's stream with, it was like a month ago, I went on there and I looked in the comments and I saw a kid named Tim Kazurski. He's like, oh my God, that's my history teacher. Like, what the hell? And I'm like, it's just funny when that happens. But
I heard you tell a story, I guess it was on another channel, where you said that, you didn't teach AP history, but you prepped a lot of your kids to take the AP exam, and a lot of them like rocked it with 4s and 5s. So, I mean, that's a testament to your teaching right there. Yeah.
I love AP history. I always wanted to teach it. And I also like, you know, I would go on, I don't know if it was Craigslist or whatever. I offered my tutoring services. And so I was like, cause I was really good at it. Like, I'm like, I will get your kid a 4 or 5. And so I only charged, I didn't know what I was worth. So I only charged like $25 an hour. As it turns out, like parents will pay like much more than that.
Now it's $100 an hour.
Yeah. Sure. I didn't know, like I really was underselling myself. And so I would go to kids' homes and like teach them. I went to Shrewsbury, which is kind of a more affluent town.
Shrewsbury.
Yeah. Like Shrewsbury people have money. I should have been charging a lot more. And it's actually funny. I went to this one guy's home. He hired me. His name is Steve Levine. And I helped this kid out who was a really nice kid and wasn't doing well in AP history. He ended up getting a 4 on the test. And then a couple years later, I wrote about Steve because he was his home in 2018. He was in the news because his home was invaded by 2 black men. He said in the middle of the day, his home was just invaded by 2 black men. And I'm like, what? Like, this is crazy. He was like and I'm like, okay. And Shrewsbury is not a lot of black people in Shrewsbury. So like, they're going to stand out like a sore thumb. In the middle of the day, this happens. This innocent guy just gets his home invaded. And I'm like, there's got to be more.
He was a student of yours?
No, he hired me to tutor his son.
Oh, okay.
And so I'd been in his home before, and I know this guy was like freshly divorced, and he had like several young girlfriends. And like, it was weird. They were like barely older than his son, you know, like young 20s. And then I found out from other people that like, he's on these like kink websites. He's like a sex master, like an actual sex cult. So he was running a sex cult
like a real one
with like, young girls who were like college dropouts from like Worcester State and other areas, that he was the dom. And he was like, you know, leading them around on leashes, and it was all online. Like, you could just go online and see. Like, the house that I tutored his son in he called it the House of Many Comes. That's what the house was called, the House of Many Comes. And so I found this out, and so that's why his home was invaded, because like he's bringing in such troubled young women that like one of them probably had like an older brother or something who went there to mess him up, to rough him up. Like, he didn't just randomly get his home invaded one day. Like, he was running a sex cult out of his home, and that's the truth. And so like, I messaged him about it. I'm like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, I just saw your home got invaded. And he goes, I know you're trying to help, you mean well, but I don't want to talk about it. He was like really rude and dismissive of me. And so I'm like, okay, well, I looked into it. And as it turns out, he's running a sex cult out of his home.
Oh my God.
That I was tutoring his son in. Like, it's a crazy story, but yeah.
Is that where you got the name from? Shrewsbury is a family joke of mine, because my parents used to drive us to summer camp in New Hampshire every year, and we would go past Shrewsbury. And so for some reason, my dad thought that was just really funny. And then Woonsocket. So Shrewsbury and Woonsocket were like a family joke.
Woonsocket's a dump. Have you ever been to Woonsocket?
Because it would just come up on the roadside. So
it's just a dump. Don't go to Woonsocket. You will not like it there. It's a dump.
A lot of people might really. I was surprised to learn that. Well, we have a lot in common, despite the fact that a lot of people might think that we're very different. I think that you and I are the last two adults that I know who do not have tattoos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never did it, you know?
Yeah, I never did either. How come you didn't?
I don't know. Just never got around to it. I'm not opposed to tattoos. But I always just was worried that like if I got a tattoo, I would regret it. And then it just stuck there forever. And that's why I never did it.
I could never commit to anything that long. Like,
and I
gotta
feel
have
like
this thing for the rest of my life. What?
Like none of my 6 brothers and sisters have a tattoo. My parents don't have a tattoo. I feel like if you don't come from a home where people get tattoos, you're less likely to get one.
Right.
I don't know. So it's just not what we did. We just didn't get tattoos.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the generation below us is kind of like, they're all about the tattoos. I don't know.
I'm not
my kids and their friends, they're all about tattoos. But
yeah,
I mean, a lot of people that are my age have tattoos too. So I don't know. It's never a thing for me. Yeah. Also, the pivot, like how you pivoted from becoming a history teacher to being a journalist. I did a pivot too. So how long were you teaching for when you decided that you were just not going to teach anymore and dedicate your life to journalism?
Well, that wasn't the plan. So like I'd been teaching for like 10 or 11 years. And how it started was I just had opinions on things that I like to share on social media that were kind of like controversial, as you can imagine. And so as a teacher, the social media world was new when this started happening. Like Facebook was somewhat new. And it was like this whole new world where like, oh, when you write things on here, your students can see them potentially, parents can see them. And that's where it can get problematic. And so some things I was writing online where parents complained about it. And I'm like, what? They could see that? Like, oh, okay. Brave new world, whole new world here. Right. And so I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I have to be anonymous, because I actually was suspended for 5 days for some of my online postings. I had a blog before Turtleboy called AidenFromWorcester.com, in which I was just like Turtleboy, except that I had my name on it, and I got in trouble for it. I got suspended for 5 days without pay. The union helped me get it down to 3. But I was clearly on thin ice. And so I'm like, well, how do they even know I wrote that? I'm like, well, because my name's on it. So I'm like, if I want to continue to share my opinions, which I clearly like to do, I have to be anonymous. And so I need an anonymous blog. And I'm like, what am I going to call it? And I'm like, well, I asked some people around. I had like a contest. Like, we need a new name for this. And one guy was like, Turtleboy. Because there's a statue in downtown Worcester of what appears to be a boy. He's releasing the turtle into the wild, but it looks like he's having sex with it, because the turtle's like screaming. Like,
of course, perfect.
It's such a funny statue, and it's like right behind City Hall.
I'll have to find a picture of it. Keep
talking. It's so funny, the Turtleboy statue. And so I'm like, I'm like that when people, it's like Worcester's most famous landmark, sadly. And so I'm like, well, I'm from Worcester. What else would I call it? Like, that's the perfect name. And it's like, the Turtleboy name is like inviting and friendly, but also a little mischievous. And it's just like the perfect brand for who I am. And I'm like, that's the name right there. We're going to call it Turtleboy. And so I was Turtleboy, and I started writing.
Well, here it is.
There it is.
The statue. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. It is a little bit. Yeah. It's a little bit. Could be Randy. A little bit Randy.
Yeah.
Why can't it? It's not, doesn't want to enlarge itself, but hey.
There's
Turtleboy.
Like screaming. The turtle's screaming.
The turtle is not happy about that.
No, he's not.
And actually the boy looks a little too happy about that.
Yes, that does not look consensual.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a funny statue. It's like right behind City Hall. And so I'm like, that's what I named it after. And I started doing it anonymously, writing. And then I got doxxed, like real doxxed, in September or October of 2014, after we went to a Buffalo Bills game. And we went up there, and I wrote about my experience and shared some videos of Bills fans giving it to us. And, because Bills fans are crazy, and it kind of made them look bad.
There's nothing else to do in Buffalo.
Bills fans got so offended by this, and one guy found out who I was and wrote about me, and, said he's a teacher at a school called Shepherd Hill. And he was up here, and he made up this whole story. The guy who wrote it, this Buffalo Bruises blog, was not at the game. But he was like a Grant Smith Ellis. He's just like, oh, and I think the lie was that he was masturbating like in the stands, they said. I'm like, one of the most outrageous lies you've ever heard. And so his blog gets read by a lot of people up there, and there's this call to action to contact my school. And so my school gets like bombarded with hundreds of phone calls and emails that I'm being CC'd on saying, you employ a teacher who's a sexual deviant and he's masturbating at the game and doing this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm like reading the emails that the principal is and the superintendent are CC'd on. I'm like, oh shit. Oh shit. So I remember the article came out on a Saturday night when I was on my way home from a cross country meet, and I'm like reading it. I'm like, oh shit. And then the next day I had to tell my now ex-wife about it. I'm like, there's an article that comes out and your picture's on it. It was a picture of me and her was like the cover photo. I'm like, and they put her shit on there. She's a teacher too. And I'm like, oh crap. And then on Monday I went into school and I'm like, I know the principal knows about this because I've seen her getting CC'd on the emails. So like, and then Monday goes by and nothing happens. And I'm like, okay. Then I go on Tuesday and I'm like, I make it through 6 periods. And right at the last period of the day, I would go out in the hallway and there's kids walking around with printouts of the blog. And yeah, I'm like, oh shit. And then a Dudley police officer came up to my classroom, the school resource officer came up to my classroom and was like, you mind just coming down to the main office? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I go down to the main office and the union rep is in there, the principal, the superintendent. And I'm like, oh, it's all happening, isn't it? And I'm like, the first thing they asked me was like, are you okay? Like, we're really worried about you. Like, as you probably have seen, we are getting bombarded right now with phone calls. We just want to make sure you're okay. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, not really. I'm not. This is a lot. And they go, why don't you just take some time off?
Sabbatical.
You know, and we'll get this all sorted out. And I'm like, okay. And so I took, time off. I never taught another day after that because I went.
When was that? What year was that?
This was October of 2014.
Okay.
And so
11 years ago.
I went to Chicago to visit my uncle Pat, who lives there. He was just like, you need to get away and you need to start thinking about alternatives to teaching. And so he owns his own water treatment business in Chicago. He's got a lot of big contracts out there. He's like, just come out here and spend a day kind of shadowing me. And maybe you'll get some ideas and maybe you'll like think of something that you can do for the rest of your life, whatever. I'm not saying you get into water treatment, but like maybe, right. Maybe something inspires you,? And so it's cool. So we met a lot of his business associates and he just got me thinking about like how I could make a living not being a teacher. And, but he said at the end of the trip, he's like, it's very clear from our conversations that you love Turtleboy. That is your love. Like you love Turtleboy and you're really good at it. And you have a pretty big following at this point. So you might as well just you have to find a way to make Turtleboy profitable. Yeah. And so he's like, well, I'm like, how do I do that? And he's like, well, you just get advertisers, like your local newspaper has advertisers, right? But they have whole sales marketing departments and stuff like that. You have to be your own marketing department. You have to go. He goes, here's what you do. Go read the local newspaper, the Worcester Telegram and Gazette, and write down all their advertisers because they're spending. Those people are already spending money on ads. You go to their door and you knock on their door and you say, hi, I'm Aiden from Turtleboy. And they probably know who you are at this point because it's a popular blog in Worcester. And just say, would you like to advertise on my blog? We can give you this many page views a month and this much exposure. And next thing you know, I got 20 local businesses lined up paying me a couple $100 and I'm able to make a living doing that.
That's old fashioned door-to-door sales.
Just door-to-door hustling.
That's like,
grifting, as they say, right? It's like,
exactly.
Also known as capitalism and entrepreneurship.
Also known as entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And so that's when I realized, so the school offered me that's when I realized I was never going back to teaching after my trip to Chicago with my uncle. And he said, I got back and the school, I talked to the union and they're like, yeah, they can't fire you. It's like a tricky situation because, you haven't, all these allegations, they've looked into them and they've realized there's nothing there, but they think you're Turtleboy, which could be enough in and of itself to have you fired because you're already on thin ice, right? With other things you've posted online. And they go, you could, if they try to terminate you, which we don't know that they're going to do, but if they do, there could be a whole battle and it could get drawn out for a year or two and you'll get no salary during that time. Or what they're offering you right now is a full year's salary, right? A package, a full year's salary and letters of recommendation and like all this stuff to just quietly, and a promise not to sue them too. They promise not to sue them, and you just walk away quietly. And so I looked at that. I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea because I want to do Turtleboy anyway, and I'll use this as kind of a nest egg to build my business with. And I've never looked back since.
So you're in your early 30s and you had like this golden parachute where you didn't have to work for a full year. So if it didn't work out, you could always go back to doing whatever. And that's when most people start their own businesses. And
wife was pregnant at the time. So like that was like extra pressure too. And it's like the baby's coming one way or another, you know, that's my first. And it's like, so if I got to shit or get off the pot now, you know what I mean? Like if I'm going to do this, I got to do it now. And because that baby's coming one way or another, and I got to provide for that baby, and I need to figure this out right now. And yeah, like you said, I could always go back to, I could have gone back to teaching. Maybe, I don't know who would have wanted to hire me with all the baggage I brought with controversy. But technically I wasn't fired or anything like that.
I mean, you still had a degree. You still could have had a plan B. Like that's always, the same kind of thing happened to me. You know, like you're in a situation where you're like, all right, like, should I get off the pot? Like it's now or never. If not now, when? And if it doesn't work out, I can always go back and do something else. So I haven't had a boss since I was like, 25, 26 years old. And I just started my own business because,
beautiful.
I had a partner and we were like in our 20s and we were like, why are we making all this money for other people? They're not even giving us health insurance. And we were lawyers who just got out of law school and they're paying us $25,000 a year. And we both had little babies too. And we were like, why are we doing this for other people? We could just do it together by ourselves and keep all the money. And so that's when great things happen because a lot of people get used to the paycheck. So they never want to take any risk. They never want to, jump off that cliff because, the paycheck, it's all about the paycheck. I need a steady paycheck. So
then you're dependent on someone else, and my uncle said, he quoted Jay-Z. He's like, you're not a businessman. You're a businessman. Like, that's the way you got to view it. Like you are the business. Like you don't need a job. You become the job when you own the business. And we're not trained to think like that. Like we're trained to like go to school, get good grades, get a job, work for someone else, get a pension, retire, and move on with your life. But like, that's not how like the Elon Musks of the world think. That's not how the great thinkers in American history thought. Like they thought about like, how can I make something that other people want? And a lot of people are just
comfortable being, Johnny Punch Clock,
right.
9 to 5, get my paycheck, go home. And, and then, you're at someone else's mercy. You get fired. There's a ceiling to how much you're going to make. Work for yourself. There's no ceiling. So I feel like, Turtleboy is like a brand. It's a brand. So I was surprised that when I met you in person, because we met at the fundraiser, I don't even remember when that was now. It was a long time ago.
It was like November.
You're much different than the way you appear on camera a lot. And I think a lot of people tonight are realizing that you're not always that guy on your show, who's yelling at people in the chat like I do all the time too, by the way.
I didn't yell at anyone there. No.
In my chat. Oh, no, at the fundraiser. But
at the fundraiser, I didn't yell at anyone.
Turtleboy is a brand. It's a character. In some respects, right? And you're the guy who got the Alan Jackson interview. Like, don't ever forget that. Like, and everyone thought he was coming on your show for like 15 minutes, and he stayed there for like 90 minutes. And that will go down in history. And you're tenacious and you're resilient. Look, people are like, oh, he's cranky. Okay, you have been through 3 of life's major stressors in the past 2 years. Okay. Divorce, death, and jail.
True.
Anybody would be cranky. The fact that you are here and every night or whenever you're on your show, you're always smiling, you're always joking, you're always laughing. A lot of people wouldn't have made it through those 3 things, by the way. In 2 years, death, divorce, your mom, you lost your mom. You told me when we were like yesterday, when we were talking, Your mom was an elected official, right?
She was, yeah. So my mom, and that's where I get my fighting spirit from. She was, my mom is a very devout Catholic and a conservative, and so she is not from Worcester. She's from New Jersey, and so when they moved here, we moved to Worcester when I was 5. Like, so my parents do not have roots in Massachusetts, so they have no connections here. They're not townies. They don't know a lot of people. And my mom was, when I was like, I think 12 or 13 years old, decided to run for Worcester School Committee, which is, it's the second largest city in New England. It's not easy to get elected to that if you don't know a lot of people. But she was smart. There was a famous judge from Worcester named Judge Mullaney, and my mom's maiden name and her last name was Mullaney. And so she met with him, and because she knew that this guy's got a lot of political influence, and she's like, I'm going to be running for school committee, and I don't want to run on your name and make it seem like I'm running on your name without introducing myself. And Judge Mullaney really liked her and was impressed by her because she was a really impressive woman and very smart. And so she ran, and she had kind of the wrong politics to get elected in Worcester. Like I said, she was branded as like, oh, this Catholic woman's going to get on here and she's going to turn this into the Handmaid's Tale, and nothing like that, of course, was going to happen. She was motivated to get involved because she's the mother of 7 kids going through the Worcester, who really believed in the Worcester public
to get
schools.
out of the house.
Yeah. And like, who really believed in the Worcester public schools and wanted, like, she was big into the arts, and like one of the arts programs funded in Worcester public schools. Like, that was always her thing. And so, yeah, like she had this fighting spirit. And so she got elected, like, and it was like a huge upset when she first got elected in 1993. We all thought she was going to lose. Even as a kid, I thought she was going to lose because like incumbents usually win, and she got 3rd out of like top 6 make it. She made it comfortably in 3rd, and then she got a reelected 9 times in a row in 2011. Like it's probably online. She lost. So in 2011, she was up for reelection again, and she won. She got the 6th spot by 2 votes. And that's an automatic recount. And so they had a hand recount, and people are going through. I've never heard of this before. They don't put them back in the machine. They do a hand recount, and you got 1 million people in a room doing tallies, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And she ended up losing by like 15 votes or something that way. It was so unscientific, but yeah, so that's where I get my fighting spirit from. She was a tough cookie, and she held me to a higher standard and just didn't take crap from anyone. But was more appropriate than I am. Like, so she liked what I did. She liked Turtleboy. She approved of the Karen, like she fully believed in Karen Reed's innocence. She fully approved of what I was doing. She would just guide me in the direction of cleaning up the language and not doing stupid shit that would get me in trouble.
Yeah. You're raised by a strong woman who was proud of everything that you were doing. And, it's so important to have that kind of support system. And then she passed away. When did she pass away?
2 days before the mistrial. So June 29th. And I didn't tell anyone like at the time because I knew I was going to go in there, and I didn't want 1 million people to come up to me and be like, I'm sorry or whatever. So I was there. Actually, I told Kelly Reed, and she told Karen, and they invited me in, and David Yannetti and Jackson and all them, the Reed parents, they were so nice to me. They're like, I'm so sorry. They hugged me and all this stuff. It was really nice. And this is right when, the day the mistrial was declared. So that while they're facing all of this, they still took time out of their day to show compassion for me, which I really appreciated.
Was she sick when you went to jail? Because you went to jail. You got out of jail
so she got pancreatic cancer about 2 or 3 years before she died. And I didn't know much about pancreatic cancer. And then you Google it and you're like, oh, this is like, 90 something % die within 12 months. You're like, my mom's not going to be here in a year. And you're like, holy shit, like, wow. And then somehow, miraculously, we have great hospitals in Worcester and in Boston, but there's great ones in Worcester too. And she just had a great team. And my sister is a nurse, and she was working in New York City, and she quit her job in Mount Sinai and came back and worked. She works at Dana-Farber now. And, she was kind of like by my mom's side the whole time and met with the doctors regularly, and she beat it. She beat pancreatic cancer. She was one of the few
Wow.
people, and it was like an amazing thing. But every once in a while, you got to go back and like, because all you need is one cell, and it metastasizes and it can spread. It hooks onto the wrong organ, and you're done. And so she's constantly having to get checked for it, and then eventually it came back. And this time the chemotherapy did not work. And I remember my dad told me, it was like in May of 2024. My dad came up to me at a soccer game and was like, so, the chemotherapy didn't work, and she's going to be in hospice. And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, how long? And I'm like, he's like, well, it could be up to a year. We don't know. There's no way of knowing. It was about 6 weeks. Like, it was like, it all happened so fast. Like it's a rapid decline, man. It's not happy to watch. It's not pretty to watch.
No.
And so, one of my great regrets was not being, unfortunately happened like right during the trial. So I was extremely busy with that,
Right.
but when I was in jail, she was still regularly going, and checking herself out, but she was not re-diagnosed yet at that point. So she wasn't terminal. And so I had no idea that like 4 months later, she was going to pass away.
Right.
But I did. So it was great. There was kind of a blessing that like, I didn't, one of my great regrets, and for anybody out there whose mother is still alive, like one of my great regrets is not talking to my mother more when she was alive. And I think a lot of people say that after their parents die, because you'll never get another chance. And I do regret that I didn't. I was always so busy with shit,
Mm-hmm.
and so anybody out there that, your parents, call your parents more, go to your parents' house for dinner, make a plan or a routine once a week to go eat dinner with your parents. They would really appreciate that, I'm sure. And you'll never regret it. You'll never, that way when they die, like you'll never have any regrets, or anything like that. So, but one of the good things about being in jail was that I called my mother and my dad every night at 8:00,
Wow.
right after I called my kids, and I would call them, and I would just talk to them for 15 minutes before the cell phone would hang up on us. And they would both just talk to me about the day and how it was going, and talk about plans when I got out. And, my mom was like, don't get the dog. This dog is not a good idea. Because I was like,
Because she wants to get a dog.
yeah, I was going to get a puppy. And she's like, that is not a good idea. And I'm like, I'm going to get the dog. Well, she was right. It was not, the dog lasted 3 days.
Oh,
And yeah, I got a puppy, and I'm like, oh, wow, this is actually more work than a child. And luckily the breeder, who's a great woman, who is one of the people who was actually visited by Bukkake.
Wait, that was the one word you promised not to say.
Oh, crap.
Don't Google it, anyone. Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what it was, and I Googled it. I can never unsee it. I just say Yuri.
Buchanan.
All right, it's too late.
Buchanan. Yeah. So he was he visited the breeder, and so she was happy to take Ryder back, and Ryder's in a happier
Ryder.
That's an actual rehoming, like an actual, but that's normal. Like if you have a dog for 3 days and you give it back, like people do that sometimes,
It's true. No, it's true.
They don't do it for 6 years. Like
Right.
That is not normal.
Right. And you don't change a dog's name when the dog is like 7 or 8 or 9 years old.
No, you don't.
How's your dad doing now? And what does he think of Turtleboy?
Oh, he's, he fully supports me. My dad's like a easy to get along with Midwestern guy. We call him Who's Your Daddy, because he's from Indiana.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
He's just like
Who's
a really agreeable.
We need shirts.
Anybody who's ever met him is just like, your dad is like the nicest guy in the world. Like everybody has, like nobody has a problem with my dad. Like absolutely nobody. He's the easiest guy to get along with, the nicest guy in the world. He was, my mom wore the pants in their relationship, and we all knew it, because like my dad didn't have like too strong opinions on anything, but my mom's from New Jersey, so she did. And that's
right.
kind of where we got our genes from. So my dad was just like, it was her rock. And he's got a PhD from Yale in biochemistry. He taught at the Massachusetts College of Pharmacy in Worcester for a long time. I don't know how many years, but for a long time, and recently retired. And now he now he keeps himself busy with like, it's lonely over there when you go over there now. You're like, this guy's got this whole house to himself. He's 75 years old, and you know, but he's got 6 kids or 7 kids rather, and you know, several of them are local, so you know, he's got time, and he keeps himself busy with like going to the YMCA and exercising, and he's heavily involved in the Boy Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout. We were all in the Scouts when I was kids. Yeah. And like, so he's heavily involved in like the Boy Scouts still and helping out with that. So he finds stuff to occupy his mind, but he's always asking me whenever I see him about how's Karen Reed doing? How's the Karen Reed case going? Oh yeah. He's like, so he follows it. He's interested in it. And you know, he supports me.
They sound like a lot like Bill and Janet Reed to me, who are really 2 of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah. Except I would say the roles reversed. Except I would say Bill is the stronger personality of the 2. You know what I mean?
Flipped,
yeah. I would say it's
but
flipped,
super supportive, super, you know, just proud of you, you know? I love that. Somebody sent me this question. Her name is Rose. She sent this to me a couple days ago. She's like, I don't know if you want to ask this. If you don't want to ask this, it's okay. And I thought it was a great question. She said, she wants to know, have you ever thought about teaching investigative journalism? That she thinks that kids would line up to take your class in college.
I would love to. I would love to teach a class. I don't think any college would hire me, but I would love to teach a class.
Why? Because you're controversial? So are most college professors. She said, we've been seeing that traditional journalism isn't working as it should. People have questions that mainstream media sources should be asking, but are not. Thankfully, there are independent journalists who are not afraid to ask these questions. I wonder if Aiden, as a former educator, has considered pitching a journalism class or seminar to one of the excellent colleges or universities in the area.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do it. But I'm not sure who would hire me. There's a lot of colleges in the Worcester area. There's WPI, which is an engineering school. There's Clark University, which definitely wouldn't hire me because
really?
Oh yeah, I have the wrong politics to work at Clark. You know, maybe Worcester State or Holy Cross. You know, I'm not sure what the journalism programs are like at these schools or if they even have them. But again, I'm not. Colleges are very politically correct.
Open your own school. They're like, open your own school.
I could start Trump. If Trump did it, I can do it too. You know,
Trump journalism.
Yeah, Turtleboy University. But you know, ultimately, I'm too busy right now to be perfectly honest with you. I don't have time for anything. I don't have time to really update my website tbdailynews.com anymore because I'm just
no time for that.
Yeah, I'm just so busy with just my own case and reading and I do like, even if I'm not putting out content every day, I'm reading, I'm watching things,
researching.
Like for instance, like I'm trying to get, I really want to get more into the Raul Valle trial. I'm really became fascinated with that because he's going to be retried. And it's got some similarities to the Reed case. But I didn't sit down and watch all of it. So that takes time. You know, you have to sit down and watch all of the testimony and take notes about it and timestamp important things to really get, you know, a full understanding of it. But I really like this true crime thing. Like this is, I can't wait to get in. I can't wait for the Donna Adelson trial.
Well, I got to tell you about, can I tell you about Aaron Spencer?
Yes, you please tell me. Cause my subs last night told me I know nothing about it.
Somebody needs to be freed. And it's Aaron Spencer. Aaron Spencer is like a 36-year-old combat veteran in Arkansas. You thought Massachusetts was corrupt. Wait till you get to Arkansas. His daughter is 13 years old. And he and his wife find out that she had been raped by this guy in town, a 67-year-old man, groomed her, forced her into having.
Yeah.
They find out, they go to the police. This is Lonoke County, Arkansas. The guy is charged with like 43 felonies, because they must have found a whole bunch of stuff on his phone that was like CSAM and for the forcible act. He goes to court. They release him on a $50,000 bond, which is $5,000 cash. Turns out he's former law enforcement from Indiana, this guy, Michael Fossler. While the guy's out on bail, one day the parents wake up and they hear the girl's dog barking like a couple of months later. And the mom thought that she was sick and the dad goes in and she's missing. And so the mom's on the phone with 911. The sister-in-law sends her like a DoorDash receipt from the man. Like apparently the man was still in contact with her. The dad goes out in his truck. He's driving around trying to find her. He happens to run across them in his car. So this guy Fossler is in the driver's seat. His daughter, the 13-year-old, is in the passenger seat. He's like, what the fuck are you doing with my daughter? He runs him off the road.
After he had already been arrested.
Yes,
and was out
he's out on bail.
Okay. And there
with
was a stay,
protective
or it's a protective order. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
All right, gotcha.
Runs him off the road, like tries to get him out of the car or gets his daughter out of the car, and Fossler is pulling on the daughter, won't let the daughter get out of the car. Somehow he gets his daughter out of the car. The guy is in a ditch. He like pulls out something. The guy doesn't know what it was. He shoots him dead. Now he's the one being tried for second-degree murder. The dad.
Second-degree murder?
Yeah.
Wow. And the other guy had a weapon?
We don't know. He pulled something out. He doesn't know, but he still had his daughter. He was in the process of kidnapping his daughter, and she was the only witness against him. His trial was coming up in like 2 months. This guy Fossler. She never would have made it home, right? In my opinion.
Yeah.
So now the dad, the same judge who had let this guy out on bail, on $5,000 bail, is the same judge who now is hearing the dad's case.
Is he out on bail? Is Spencer out on bail?
They were able to get him out, but like a couple of weeks later, she put the gag order on the case because the family's speaking out on Facebook, and it had to go all the way up to the Supreme Court of Arkansas. To the gag order finally just got overturned, so now they can talk about
a gag
it
order on who?
On the family.
How can you put a gag order on a family?
Exactly.
I can understand a gag order on the attorneys, like they're bound, but you can't stop. Even Auntie Bev didn't try to gag the public.
Exactly.
You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's outrageous.
So he is now scheduled to go to trial in September. The next conference is like, I don't even know where my dates are now. But
that's soon. Oh, wow.
I know, because the gag order has just been lifted. And
when was he arrested?
We'll see. Michael Fossler was arrested in June of 2024 on 43 felony charges.
Wow, this all happened.
Those were the offenses in June of 2024. Then Michael Fossler was arrested July 11th. He's released right away. His trial was scheduled for December of 2024. She was the only witness against him.
Oh, Fossler. Okay.
These charges, Aaron Spencer's charges, happened in October.
And he's going to trial already.
2024.
Wow.
He's going to trial.
Wow.
But what they don't want you to know is that this guy Fossler was the former chief of police in a town called, I think, Hamlet, Indiana. And this is how deep this runs. Like, wow. We got boots on the ground ready to go to Arkansas. They had to give, send, go for the family because they have to pay for therapy for the daughter. I mean, this is like, it's horrific. And people
Does he have a good lawyer?
Yeah, he's got a good team. Like, they've been able to raise a lot of money. Like, they went all the way up to the Arkansas Supreme Court to get this gag order overturned. And
have you talked to any of the family? Have you talked to any of the family? You're gonna have them on your show? You should.
Like, the mom is like, I'm in contact with people. Like, I don't want to jeopardize the case at all. So there's a fine line there. But a lot of people have reached out to me that are like friends of the family, and it's just like, this guy is a hero, in my opinion. Like, the fact that we need to get Turtleboy on this.
I know, and I'm intrigued.
Oh yeah.
So
this is the other part. So when he was getting arrested, the sheriff, who was also crooked as hell, puts him in the police car. Then he takes him out of the police car. Then when he gets back in the police car, there's a glass pipe, like a crack pipe in there. And Aaron Spencer looks at it. He goes, "That is not mine. Take me out of here right now and drug test me, and pick that thing up and run it for prints, because that is not mine." Like, it was totally planted on him. It was insane.
This is all in the court filings.
There's everything has been sealed. I can't get a hold of Fossler's charges. Everything was sealed. We have a couple of things that we've been able to get. We can't get a hold of his like indictment. But there's like a motion to suppress the pipe. And there's very few documents on it. Like, the fact that this is going to trial right now, they have the appellate briefs. But it's scary. I mean, as a dad, you're a dad.
Yeah, I know.
What would you do if this happened to your daughter? I know you have kids around the same age.
Yeah.
I mean,
tough to. I'm not a gun owner,
right? So I'm not either. But
like, so
out there, it's like, the Wild West.
You do whatever you can to protect your daughter. Obviously, it's like you have to do what you have to do. But that's unbelievable. Well, you know what? Bring it to a jury. An Arkansas jury is never going to convict this guy. There's no way you're going to get 12 people. That guy's a dad. Like, you put any man on that jury, I'm sorry. Anybody with a daughter, no, you're never going to convict a guy like that ever.
Yeah, it's an overcharge, and it's Could be self-defense. I mean, could be justifiable homicide. The guy did like a couple of tours in Iraq, the dad, you know, he was like a Navy SEAL or something. I forget exactly what his rank was, but yeah.
Yeah. What does Governor Huckabee think of this? Sarah Huckabee. I mean, she
Has
commented on it. Nothing?
Silent.
Really? Okay.
Silent. She said nothing. People are trying to get her involved.
Yeah, these governors, they're so reluctant to get involved in
I know.
shit. And it's like like I said earlier, Maura Healey, just silence.
Mhm.
Silent. You got the biggest murder case in the country, and it's outrageous what's happening. And you oversee the state police, and it's just crickets.
Yeah.
On it. Crickets.
It's wild. Something else I want to talk to you about just parts of you going to jail, because I've heard the story and I think that it's the CO. All the COs liked you. There was one named Lindsay in particular.
Yeah.
Who didn't want you in there.
Yeah, she was so nice. She was
And
so
she
nice.
said, she looked at you, she said, what am I going to do on Tuesday night now?
Yeah.
How's
And
your-
yeah. Another guy walked by my door.
Running the Norfolk County Pokey.
Yeah. Another guy walked by the door, and he's just like I think it was my first or second night there. They were down there to like bring another prisoner down. It was like out of control, and like restrain him. They threw him in there. And like, I'm just standing by the window watching the traffic outside. And this guy looks at me. He's just like, I'm a turtle rider. So he said, that's all he said to me. That good. Like, yeah, it's like, okay, cool. And so, yeah, that was really cool to know that these people all there. One guy looked at me like I was just walking down the hallway, and this guy just looks at me. He just starts laughing. He's just like, every time I see you in here, I just laugh because I can't believe you're in here. He's just like looking at me. It's like, it's just wild seeing you in here. I see you on freaking TV, and then I come in and you're wearing orange. It's like bizarre. It's like, he just started laughing. I'm like, it's like, this is just crazy that you're in here. Like,
one other guy I want to talk to you about from your prison jail stint. It was just jail. Just jail. Like, that's like, I couldn't survive like 2 hours in jail. LC, the jailhouse barber. I want to show you something here. There's a reason why some haircuts are $5. Okay.
yes.
LC, the barber.
Yeah.
This is some of his work that we've been admiring.
Yeah. It's not good. My
this
hair.
Is Harry Turk on the left here. Harry Turk went to trial. We followed his trial. And his daughter, I mean, not his daughter, Katie McLean's daughter was in my chat. And I would always joke that it looked like Harry got his hair cut with a hammer. And she thanked me for that joke because it made her laugh during a time of, you know, what was so tragic, her mother's trial. So there's Harry Turk on the left. I guess that's the work of LC because, and then here's Brian Walsh in the middle. This is at the beginning. That, I don't know what is going on with that haircut. That's like a hair, not a hairdo. It's like a hair don't. And then this is also Brian Walsh on the right. Look at the glow. This guy has given Jen McCabe a glow up run for
he
money.
Looks better than he did when he first went into jail. He looked bloated and ridiculous and a cartoon
there he
character.
Is in the middle.
And then when I saw him in jail, that's, you know, I'm like, is that Brian Walsh? I asked one of the COs, and they go, I'm not supposed to answer that.
Which version did you see? The version in the middle?
The cleaned up version of him. I'm like, wow, he actually looks
skinny,
much better than he did before he went into jail. And like, I'm like, I can't believe I'm in the same place as Brian Walsh. And then like, I would look in his cell sometimes, and when he wasn't there, and it was just like really organized. He had so many notebooks and books. Like he had a desk, like he had like, he was really organized in there. I'm like, oh man, this guy is like, you could tell he was like taking his case seriously, like in doing legal research and working, you know. And I had one conversation with him. I snuck a note under his door a few days before I got out, and I probably should have done it earlier. And I just said, my name's Aidan Kearney. I'm an investigative journalist. I'm actually in here because I'm covering the Karen Reed case. And the reason I'm writing you is because the case involves a detective by the name of Michael Proctor, who I understand is involved in your case, and a number of Google search. There's a Google search that is contentious at the heart of this. And I understand your case obviously hinges mostly on Google searches. Would you be interested in having a conversation with me? So I put that under his door. It was the day that he was in federal court pleading guilty to the art stuff.
Oh, he sold fake Andy Warhol paintings.
Yeah. So he wasn't there that day. So I put the note in his door, and I knew he'd read it when he got back. And so the next day I went over to his cell door, and, you know, I got the whole place to myself, like every day, and the prisoners are in their cells and just kind of watching me do my thing. And I went over to him, and I'm just kind of knocked on his door, and he's like, it was so weird talking to him. He's just like, oh, hi, Aiden. I got your note. So yeah, I read it and thanks for your concern. But I talked to my lawyer and he says that he will be in touch with you. I never heard from Larry Tipton, but he says that
Great,
he will
Larry
be in touch with you. And if there's anything we can do, let me know. And he goes, and I really hope that you get home soon to your family and your kids. And I hope you have a nice day. It was like fucking bizarre. I'm like, whoa, Brian Walsh, don't make me like you. Like,
Oh, wow. That's really interesting because,
yeah.
based on his Google searches and everything else, that way there's video of him doing it. Looks like he's a total monster, but that's
I mean, you could be a monster to your wife and still be nice to other
guess.
people, like, like, the guy got by. I mean, he was like, he was living in Cohasset. It's a really nice town. He was doing, you know what I mean? And, like, I definitely think he killed his wife. Every time I looked at him, I'm like, dude, what did you do? Like,
And he may walk free because of their overreach on the consent search. And so wouldn't that be horrible?
Yeah, that would, and I
Was
hate
Harry
to, I don't want it to happen, but like, it's like,
It has to, though. If
yeah.
the Constitution is going to work for everybody,
Right.
It has to work for everybody. Better that one guilty person go free than one innocent person be locked up.
Yeah, exactly. No, I didn't see Harry Turk in there. Harry Turk was he was in Frankie's housing unit. He was in 1A, which is where Elsie lived in 1A too. And
wait,
and
was Elsie a prisoner?
Oh yeah, Elsie was a prisoner.
Oh, I thought Elsie was like the outside barber.
Oh
that they brought in.
no, Elsie's a prisoner. Yeah.
Oh, well, no wonder. I think he was doing these haircuts on purpose because he knew they were going to be on TV and he wanted to make them look like idiots.
No, he was a prisoner. And it's funny.
No shade, Elsie. No shade. Love you, man. Love you.
On the day that I was released, I was in the holding cell in Norfolk Superior Court, and the lawyer comes over and is talking to her client in the cell next to me, and who was having trial that day, apparently in the courtroom 25, where Carrie was tried and where I'm about to be brought in or whatever. And so he has this person next to me in the cell has the trial in there, and she's talking to him about it. And she's like, yeah, there's like a big crowd outside. And she's like, I don't really know what it's for. And I'm like, oh, I go, not to interrupt, but that's for me. And I'm like, I'm getting, and then
like, I'm a really big deal around here.
Yeah. And then the guy,
not know it.
Her client goes, yo, Turtleboy? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yo, it's LC. I'm like, oh shit. He was having his trial that day. He was acquitted on a lot, but also found guilty of a couple things. And he got like, I think 3 to 5 years. I don't know. He's in Shirley. He messages me sometimes on the Securus app. I still keep in touch with him, but oh,
you do?
Yeah, he's like an old guy. Like, he's like an old timer. Like, the old timers in jail are like the least, they're like the most harmless guys in jail, the old timers, because like he's like 50 something, and this guy's like been in and out of the system probably his whole life. In his younger days, he was probably a real bad dude. But once they get older, they're like, like they are what they are. But there was the younger guys in jail that was like really like, I'm like, it was how used they were to jail. That was like the most disturbing part. Like I would do my afternoon rec, as I call it, in the shoe. So morning, I went to where Brian Walsh lives, and that's to the left. And the housing unit to the right is where I went in the evening from 6:30 to 7:30. And there's only 10 holding cells in there. Sometimes they would all be empty. And I would do like there was like a cot in there that's like, I don't know, 20 or 30 inches off the ground. I don't know how many. And I would do step-ups on those. And like, that's how I would get my exercise and whatever. But sometimes if there was like a huge brawl, all of the cells would be filled with prisoners. Like, cause this is the area where if you got in a fight or you did something, like one guy was in there because he got caught making homebrew, which is liquor in your
toilet hooch. Yeah, they call it toilet hooch.
Like, I asked the CO, I'm like, how does that work? What do they do? He goes, well, they take all the fruit that they get, because you get fruit like every meal, and they just hold on to it, and they put them in plastic bags, and they put the bread in there too, and then it ferments.
Sarah Boone was doing that.
Yeah, and he goes, but we all know they're doing it because the second that they open it, they go, it is the most pungent smell ever. And like, it's just so obvious that they do it. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, he goes, but I understand why they do it. Like, this guy just got sentenced to 11 years. Like, he's got to make the time go by. Like, this is what they do. But if they got caught, they got to come down here, or if they got in a fight. And so it was always like younger guys that were in the shoe. And sometimes they would be having these conversations with themselves while I'm trying to work out, and they're just yelling shit back and forth like all day, like, yo, I heard that down in, in Plymouth County, they be getting extra rec down there. Oh, that's true. In federal prison, it be nice. It's tight, yo. They got TVs there. They got PlayStation
Club
there.
fed.
Yo, they were all discussing about like how to game. One guy was like giving me pointers on like, yo, here's what you got to do to get you guys, yo, Turtleboy, you got to get in a unit. He was in there for gun charges out of Brockton. He's like telling me, he's like, yo, Turtleboy, you got to get in a unit. And he's like, wrote all these directions for me. He's like, yo, first you got to say that, yo, you're mad lonely in there. And you're like mad, sad, and like depressed. And like, you got to get into a unit. And then when you get in a unit, then you'll be all set. We'll take care of you there. If
Like a gang? Like a unit is like a gang?
No,
like
a housing unit.
Oh, because
Like,
you were in like
I'm by myself.
solitary.
Yeah. So it's
You
like
didn't put you in
boring.
Gen Pop, right? So
Yeah, and all the other prisoners like, dude, you got to get out
That's
of
lonely.
like it's like hell, like it's like punishment. I got the
Yeah.
worst gig, and they're like, you got to get out of there, and like and I'm like, I go, the management is worried about like if I get beat up or something. They go, no one's touching you. No one gonna touch you in there. Like, we're gonna let that happen. Yeah, like
You're Don Carney, for Christ's sakes. They know
I
you.
guess so, because
Don
they all
Carney.
liked me. Like all the prisoners liked me except for one guy, this guy Johnny, and I was warned about him going in. So I wrote about Johnny's girlfriend named Sarah Burke in 2017. We called her the Dedham webcam mom.
Everybody's Googling Sarah Burke.
Yeah. If you
Looking
so
for
I,
that Turtleboy story.
I wrote about her because she was like selling herself on online, and like her kids would sometimes come into the videos. It was bizarre. And I'm like, so she was like so ratchet. And so like I exposed her and I wrote about her, and she was a ratchet and blah, blah, blah. And apparently she's got this guy, Johnny, who's like in love with her. It's like an ex-boy, like a Tara Kerrigan that like years ago, it's like, she's like madly in love with her. So I go in there one time and he's like, I hear like, usually it was like, yo, Turtleboy is always positive. It's like, yo, Turtleboy. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, and he had just been in a fight, and the other guy's face was all swelled up. So he won the fight. And so he's like, yo, you wrote about my ex-girlfriend, Sarah Burke. Let me out of here. Like, and yeah, like he was the only guy that was like, had problems with me, is because of Sarah Burke. But other than that, they all liked me. All the prisoners liked me.
Imagine all those people in jail, and only one of them had you written about.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Out of how many stories have you written?
I wrote about one other guy
10
too,
years.
who was in there. And Proctor was the lead detective in his case. His name was Julian Hammond Desir. And he was he was recently, I think it was in front of Canoni. I think she's sentenced to life. He shot somebody in the middle of the Braintree Mall, point blank, just went up to him and shot him in front of his kids and killed him.
I remember that story. Yeah.
And he was a fugitive for a little bit. They ended up finding him, and he was 19 years old when he did it. And so I'm in there, and he had gotten in a fight because the CO's like, that kid fights like all the time. He's like 120 pounds. They go, but the first day he got in here, he just challenged a guy that was like twice his size, and because he just wanted to make a name for himself in here, and he gets in fights all the time. And so he calls me over to his cell, and he's like, yo, you wrote about my mom. And I'm like, I did? Because his mom was like a school committee member in some town. And I'm like, this guy's mom's on the school committee. It's crazy. And I'm like, oh yeah, what are you in here for? He's like, well, allegedly I shot someone at the Braintree Mall. Allegedly. It's always allegedly with these guys. Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah, I'll take the blog down when I get home. He's like, okay, thank you. I never did, but because he was actually, after I got out, he was actually convicted, and Auntie Bev sentenced him to life. But hearing him have these conversations with these other young, almost exclusively black males, and they're in these, cells, and just it was sad because their expectation for life was just jail. Like, this is what we're going to jail. Like, it's like what we do. Like, and they're just talking about other jails, and like, this jail has better Wi-Fi, and then there's this jail, and you go to this jail, and they're just shooting the shit, having the time of their life in jail. And I'm like, this sucks being in here. And you guys are like, this isn't so bad. They're kind of like making the best of it. I'm like, this is bizarre. It was just like such culture shock to be like, this is just normal for you guys. This is crazy.
Right. And these people haven't been convicted yet. They're just hanging out there until they get moved to like a state pen, right?
Yeah. The more dangerous, there's two guys. there was people in orange and people in green.
Oh,
The
different
people in-
colored outfits.
People in green were less dangerous because they were convicted. And if you're convicted and you're in that jail, that means you were sentenced to 2.5 years or less. So the
Oh.
crime that you were kind of convicted for, mostly drugs. So like a lot of just people who are drug addicts and they're drug related
Mhm.
crimes that they're in there for, right? Because 2.5 years. The people in orange are the ones you got to worry about because they're the ones in their pretrial for murder. A lot of them are
Brian. Hello,
Brian
Brian Walsh.
Walsh, Harry
Harry
Kirk,
Turk.
like Julian Heyman to see that those are the guys wearing orange in there. So those are the guys that are really a lot more dangerous were the ones in orange because they were not convicted yet. Once you're convicted, of course, and you get life, that's when you're sent to, Shirley. Yeah. So
What
there's
color
that.
were you wearing?
Oh, he had Judge Krupp. I apologize.
Krupp, right. Yeah, I knew it was somebody that we knew because Krupp has been
Yeah.
on your case too.
Yeah.
You've had every judge.
No comment on him.
Yeah, we didn't really like Krupp either.
No.
What color did you wear?
I had orange.
Oh, orange.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So, if
So
you're in there
you
on
looked tough, but really you didn't do anything. Really, you did nothing. Really, it was bogus. Trumped up
yeah,
charges
like
and a setup.
that's what one of the CEOs said to me. They go, like, everybody in here says they're innocent, but like, you really are. Like, it's like, and they
You're
go,
a scapegoat.
they go, you're actually a political prisoner. Like a lot of people use that word, but you're literally a political prisoner. You are in here for political reasons because the politicians want you in here,
Mhm.
and that's why you're here. And
They're
it's like,
silencing you.
Yeah.
They're trying to trump on your First Amendment rights. I say Massachusetts is where your constitutional rights go to die.
Yeah, it really is. But we're working on that. We're fighting it. Like if we can get some legislation passed, that's
They're
when you
working
make
on
your
it.
name in the history books. That's when it's like, we actually did something concrete. We got a law changed. We saw this thing that was being, this law has been on the book for like 20 or 30 years, but no law enforcement agency has ever been corrupt enough to exploit it in the way that the Norfolk DA's office has.
They had to dig it. They had to take it off ice to charge you with it.
But once they did that, it opened the doors for others to do it. Like, my guy, Tony Raymond I wrote about him he's in Middlesex County in Malden. He posted a meme about like, he attacks like corrupt officials in the city of Everett. He goes after the mayor of Everett and he posted a meme about some like politicians in Everett. And it's like he's like the character and he's like stomping on him and doing this like WWE style stuff to him. And the public officials like, I'm in fear of that. And he got charged with witness intimidation. Bradel took up his case, brought it to trial, bench trial. Tony Raymond won. And so it's like my charge is kind of open. And how about the Canton 9? How about Rich Schiffer? Like once they did it to me, it was like we could just use this on anyone we want. So, but I think that the more we fight, we're going to show them that, no, you can't do this. Like, sorry, law enforcement. Like this is not although you'd like to put everybody you don't like in jail, that's just not how freedom works.
The Richard Schiffer police report was like 36, but like they did a better investigation on those rubber ducks than they did for the murder of John O'Keefe. And when I look at your indictments, they're like a page long each. There's like nothing to it.
The charging
do they have any affidavits of
the charging documents are like 72 pages long.
I got 32 pages. I got the indictments here. They're like 32 pages.
Okay.
So maybe there's more that I don't have.
With the chart, like where they explain all the things I said in the show. I don't know. There's like one.
These are just like ridiculous indictments. And then I took the pleasure of like on each of the ones that were dismissed, I put it in big red letters. So it's like, this one was dismissed because you had 16 felony charges in the beginning. Now you're down to 10 plus the 2 window intimidation charges. So a lot of people don't know.
And the 2 Lindsay Gattani charges too for witness intimidation and wiretapping for recording her while she was threatening to hurt her children. I got charged for that.
And to threatening to have a fake abortion in your real driveway.
And Fanning was the only one who testified at the grand jury about that. And he testified that the tape I played, he said, wasn't the original. The original was actually a different tape that we have not received in discovery yet. And the grand juror asked him, who gave you that tape? Kate Peter did.
Yep.
Kate Peter gave me this tape. So she is the lone source of evidence for my indictments in the Lindsay Gattani case.
Right. And she, Cosgrove said at the hearing last week that he turned it over. So I don't know if it's in one of those 4,000 blank pages, but
we have yet to receive it. We have not heard this allegedly original version of the tape from a woman who has admittedly forged federal documents before and sent them to YouTube. So this
That's
person,
right, to get your channel stricken.
she's
That's
very,
right.
she's very trustworthy, and she can really be believed. It sounds like they get. I just can't believe they hitched their train to her wagon. That they were that desperate.
She
that
was
they
the
were
only
like,
one willing to do it.
yeah, kind of. I mean, that was
I
it.
mean,
There was
1,500 a month is 1,500 a month, right? I mean, you know.
honestly, I don't even know if I believe. I believe
Well,
she told Gene that. I
right.
believe she told Gene that, but she's a liar too. She also builds herself up. The truth of the matter is, she would gladly do it for free because of her hatred for me. Just
Right.
drives and motivates her. Like, she's volunteering. Like, I have no doubt. So like we get the sectional thing is funny. We laugh
Do you
about
think the
that.
sectional story was real? Do you think she really has? I don't care.
I believe everything that Gene said is something that
she was
told her.
Yeah.
But I also believe Kate is largely full of shit and likes to build herself up to be more important than she actually is. So I'm sure there's elements of truth to a lot of things she said, but
beads of truth. Yeah,
Yeah.
beads of truth. I do think that Jennifer McKay probably did say, "I'm not going to testify unless Turtle Boy's in jail."
oh, that's a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact. That is that is one of the things that was definitely true. Is that and it may be in writing as well. So we'll see.
Oh, I can't wait. So you're going to call them the Turtleboy Files when they come out.
Mhm.
We're like on the edge of my seat for
Yep.
all of this, and I just can't wait. You know, you mentioned Grant Smith Ellis before, and really the only good thing that I can say about him is that he gave me a merch idea, because he's the one who asked Alan Jackson if Alan Jackson had fun with Melanie Little in Cancun. And so I made sweatshirts that say I went to Cancun with attorney Melanie Little. If I send you one, will you wear it?
Yes, of course I'll wear it.
What color do you want?
Purple. Do you have purple?
I can get a purple one for you. I'll
There
get
you
a
go.
purple one for you. And I think here's another question I want to ask you. You have a stylist.
Yes, I do have a
Tell me,
stylist.
when did you get the stylist? Tell
She
us about
just
your stylist.
volunteered. She just messaged me
Oh.
one day and she was like, "Hey, she's like, first of all, my mom babysits Tim Bradle's kids, so she's from the same town as him, and she's like, she's like, look you're about to be right after I was arrested. She's like, you're about to be on TV a lot, and you cannot wear that Turtle Boy tie with the green shirt.
Right.
It's like, you can't do that. I just
You
can't.
can't be
allow
dressing
that."
like Colin Albert on the stand.
Right, exactly.
With the TJ Maxx like matching. Not that you were. I'm just saying. Colin
Yeah,
Albert
no, I
outfits
was.
were
I
definitely
was
from
like,
TJ Maxx.
that suit was like the only suit I had. It was like, I don't get dressed up that often, so it was like 10 years old, and I'm like, yeah, it was baggy. It was out of style, and so she's like, he just give me your credit card information, and I will, free of charge. Like, usually a charge to be. She's like, I'm gonna get you dressed, basically,
I love
and
it.
like, I'll send you ideas, and you approve of them. If you like this, you give me the green light. I buy it. You get it the next day in the mail. And so that's what whenever I'm like in the mood for something new, like I just text her and she's like, "What about this?" And I'm like, "Ooh, I like
Oh my
that. I
God.
like
So
that
what
a lot."
brands have you found yourself attracted to? Like, where
stuff
you
that
getting
I would never
Brioni
buy.
ties? Like, where you? Because you've been on your outfits have been on point. Your sartorial
Yeah.
splendor has been off the charts. What's her first name?
What's her first name? Catherine.
Catherine. All right. So
Yeah.
shout out to Catherine, the stylist, because your boy looks good on TV. Yeah, the suits are on point, the ties are on point.
Yeah, a lot of J. Crew stuff, like stuff that I've never purchased before.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? She's like, look at this as like an investment. She also thinks I should grow. She sent me a picture of Brad Pitt with like his hair kind of grown out, like, you know what I mean? With like, she's like, I think you should do this with your hair. She wants me to grow my hair out longer. I don't know what you guys think of that.
Like
yeah, like and just like a little bushier on the side. She's like,
if you can grow it, try it.
Yeah, good.
I'm not a fan of the facial hair. Like, I'm not really a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not going for the facial hair.
Like Billy Bush is growing a mustache right now. I'm like, Billy, no, no, it looks like a caterpillar. No, that could be cute. The hair could be cute. Yeah, it's the thing now. I noticed all the boys in high school, they all have like this giant tuft of hair and then it's short on the side. Maybe because it's Catholic school, they got to be short on the side, just be above the cut. But yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah, like Bradley Cooper-esque, like somebody said in the comments, or like the Brad Pitt, like she's like she's like, I think you should go for the movie star look, and I'm like, maybe. That's bold. I've never done longer hair like that. Maybe we'll see.
You can always call LC to cut it if it doesn't work out.
That's true.
Or you can pay him a visit wherever he is now.
Yeah, that's true.
Who do you want to play you in the faux movie? Like, You have a movie deal. I don't know how much you can talk about, but you probably have an NDA, so you can't really talk about.
No, I can talk about it.
All right. So is it a movie? Is it a series? What's it going to be? Is it going to be a
So
doc?
they own the life rights to my doc, movie, TV series, and book. So if I do anything like that, they have my rights to those. So I can't just go and sign with somebody else. So like, the doc is already in the works. It should be done in 4 to 6 months. They said they got a lot of footage from the last 2 weeks before the Reed verdict was read. A lot of interviews. They were there interviewing people the whole time, interviewing me, just getting my live reactions to everything. I was mic'd up wherever I went. So the doc is going to be really good. But the doc is basically what they're using to promote the movie. The scripted movie is what they're really looking for. And so they're already in talks with directors. Obviously, I can't say names or anything like that, who he's talking to, but very big names. And he's got 3 people that he wants to play Karen. He's got 3 people that he wants to play me. Unfortunately, none of them are Bradley Cooper, because that would have been my first choice.
Yeah, I would have said Bradley Cooper for you too.
He's my favorite, but he's got some really big names in line that the movie.
Who would you, if you could pick? Well, besides Bradley Cooper, I mean, you might pick like a Matt Damon type, or like, what are you thinking?
No,
if you could choose, if you had unlimited budget, who do you think would do you the best?
Jeremy Renner, I think would be, or Ryan Gosling, one of those ones, because they're blonde. It has to be a blonde guy that does it, or else it's not going to work.
Yeah, I'm mad at Matt Damon and Ben Affleck because none of them ever came out and said anything about Karen Reed. Why did it took John Stamos to be like the only celebrity who would say anything about Karen Reed?
Bill Burr hadn't say anything about Karen Reed. He's from Canton.
The hell's that about?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, how come none of them? Why not?
So forget it. They don't even get a part in the movie.
Yeah, screw them.
They're from the area. Like, come on. Tomfoolery, shenanigans, tomfoolery, and ballyhoo. That's like from Good Will Hunting.
I was working with the Wahlbergs. They were the original documentary company that I worked with, Mark Wahlberg's company. And they had an exclusivity deal with me that went from August, that I signed in August of 2023 and for a year. And ultimately nothing worked out as far as like we're getting a deal with the streaming company or anything like that to do the doc. And I'd been in talks with this guy, Jeff from Compelling Pictures, and he was just a real go-getter. And what sold me on him was how into Karen Reed's innocence he was. He made it very clear, like, this is not going to be some, both sides have a good point documentary. This is going to be very biased towards Karen Reed, because I believe in her innocence 1000%. And we are taking the angle that you are the protagonist in this. Like, you're you know what I mean? We're not taking this 50-50 position. Like, is Turtleboy good or is Turtleboy bad?
Right.
Like, I'm being portrayed as the hero in this, which is awesome.
Yes.
And so like, that's what sold me on him, was that he sold it to me and was basically fully believed in her innocence. And so I was happy to sign with him, and really excited to see what the future brings.
Yeah, I can't wait either. It's going to be very exciting. I mean, it writes itself, right? Unlike that Phillips podcast, which was probably the worst thing I've ever listened to in my life.
Unprofessional. And like, he literally, the guy,
I don't even want to give him air, but
he just let his emotions take over. Like, he just made it so obvious. It was just so angry with me. That's how he came across in the podcast. Like, you're just mad at me and you can't even hide it. And your podcast is bombing. Like I said, I was on with Britt Happens earlier. And I told her this.
Was just like,
how about the interview with Carrie Lama?
That's what I'm talking about.
About the garbage man. About how dude.
She outed the children as all needing like inpatient or outpatient mental health treatment. Like, what? Hello? Why? Do you think McCabe's going to be happy about that? That you're telling that to the world?
He interviewed Betterow, and that didn't go in the pod. Like, you have Carrie Lama in your podcast, but not Betterow. Like, are you kidding me?
It was, it was unlistenable because you couldn't watch it because there was no video. What, do you know who Rotten Mango is?
I don't.
Rotten Mango is a YouTuber, and she is like one of my kids' favorites, and she has 5.51 million subscribers. She just dropped her first episode on Karen Reed. She doesn't cover any stories until they're over. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows Rotten Mango, but she is so into it. And she just dropped her first video 4 days ago. It says, man dead in front of powerful family home after blizzard party. everyone inside has motive to kill. Like, she is so in it. It's already got 1.6 million views.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And so now one of my kids is like, Rotten Mango took up Karen Reed. I'm like, oh, now you're going to listen to Karen Reed. She's like, I already know the whole story. I listen to you all the time. So yeah.
Looking at it, it appears to be just a woman by herself in front of a background.
She's got a huge board of all the players in the family. Here, I'm just going to put it up for a second. I don't want to get stricken, but like, if anybody hasn't watched it, I encourage you to go watch it because she's all about it. And she'll bring more attention on this because she has so many followers worldwide. And like, she's got a whole board of all the players. And it's sort of like, she's kind of like explaining the story to her husband. But it's really good. She's a great storyteller, and her audience skews much younger, which is great too, because, like 80% of my audience is 45 plus. So let's get a new demographic involved here. And it's also going to get more publicity for your thing when it finally drops, hopefully. Right. Yeah. She's
absolutely.
a great researcher and storyteller. So if anybody hasn't watched that, go give her a,
the beauty of coming on now is that she's been acquitted. Like, before, I could understand the hesitancy of some to, backward,
right.
like, back a woman who's accused of murdering a cop. But now that she's been acquitted, it's like people can be a lot more comfortable, I think, fully supporting Karen Reed and me, because she has been, a jury agreed with us. A jury unanimously agreed that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. And the jurors who have spoken out and given interviews have gone further and said that, oh no, we actually think she's innocent. And we think the FBI should become more involved and like, John deserves justice. Like, these jurors don't just believe that there was reasonable doubt. They do believe there was reasonable doubt, but they also believe that she's innocent and that someone else killed John O'Keefe.
Well, John O'Keefe wasn't hit by a car. So something else happened. Yeah. And it clearly, he didn't slip and fall and whack his head and break his head, like Brennan said. He didn't break his head. So something else obviously happened that did not involve a car.
And doesn't that bother people that like there's people walking out amongst us who killed a man, and that doesn't like scare the shit out of the DA? Like, how do they sleep at night knowing that there's these people out there that did this? And don't tell me for a second that Adam Lally goes home and is convinced that Karen Reed did this. Don't tell me that. He's not. No. And so they know.
He had no passion. He had no passion when he tried this case. He walked in there with his backpack on and his humpback, like grew from Despicable Me. And he was like, dun, 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 I got to do what I got to do. He had no passion. He didn't sell it at all. And he's going to have to testify tomorrow and Proctor in this Miles King hearing. And I'm excited to see that because this is an evidentiary hearing on a motion to dismiss for this Miles King case. Rosemary Scapaccio is, I think that's how you pronounce it, is the attorney. Scapiccio. Okay, Scapiccio. It's like Lapolito. I never say that right either. And this is what should have happened on Karen Reed's motion to dismiss. There should have been an evidentiary hearing. Proctor should have had to get up on the stand.
Well, there was
about the video.
There was one scheduled for May 25th, 2023. And the day before, Auntie Bev asked for a special hearing on May 24th, 2023 to decide whether or not they would have the evidentiary hearing. Karen's whole team had flown in by then. And they're like, we couldn't believe this. We were being told to come in to see if we're going to cancel it. The first thing Auntie Bev says in the courtroom that day was, I'm canceling the hearing tomorrow. There will be no evidentiary hearing tomorrow.
Wasn't that on the cell phones, though? Wasn't that on Brian Albert, Brian Higgins, and Gemma Cabe's cell phones? And they were going to
were going to, Brian Albert, Jennifer McCabe, and Michael Proctor were all going to be brought in.
Right.
And Alan Jackson thought he was going to be able to cross-examine them in an evidentiary hearing. And they thought this whole thing was going to get dropped after that because that's standard. That's routine. But it was on May 24th when I realized, oh, wait, the problem is the judge. And because the judge was just like, nope, no evidentiary hearing. And then that was the end of that. And so that was the day I walked out of court and I tried to interview Jennifer McCabe. I walked her to her car. And I asked them, why are you guys wearing Justice for JJ buttons if you guys killed him? Like, why how do you wake up every day and do this? And I got charged with witness intimidation for that.
Isn't her nickname JJ too?
They're all JJ.
You would think like maybe it was
Auntie
justice
JJ.
for her, justice for Auntie JJ.
Yeah.
Like, justice for me, not John O'Keefe. Because in the group messages, where were the messages like, oh my God, what happened to John? Does anybody know what happened to John? Like, I feel like there was never any messages about John.
Or how
Never
about like,
John.
is there any, can we get a meal train going for the kids, for the family? Like, oh, they must
Did they
be
do a meal
struggling.
train? I don't know.
No, like I didn't see any texts about that.
Oh,
You know, like that's what I mean by the texts. Like, you guys are his best friends, right? You're so close to him. Where are the texts saying that, like, how's John's family doing? Are they okay? Do they need anything? Do they need, maybe we should like offer to like bring something over or do this or do that? There's nothing like that. We don't see any texts like that. All we see is like, so what's going on over there? Cops? Okay. What's Kerry's telling them everything? You know, that's the kind of messages we saw.
Yeah. Am I keeping you? Do you got to go? I have like 2 more questions.
No, I'm having a great time.
Oh, okay, good. All right. If you have to go, just tell me. I won't be offended. My other question is, music. What kind of music do you like? If you could go to any concert right now,
any concert,
like who would, band, living or dead? Like who would you, if I could give you tickets to anything, who would you want to go see?
I've always loved Dr. Dre. I loved the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. That was the best freaking halftime show I've ever seen. Like, remember when Eminem, Dre, Snoop, like it was the best. So I love early 2000s rap. Like I love my favorite album of all time is The Chronic 2001. It's just, you'll never put so many good songs on one album than that. It was just, Dr. Dre is just an artist. But I do like, I like country. I like some country, not all country, like fun country. I like, it's corny, like Florida Georgia Line commercial country music. Like I liked, I guess I'd have to hear the song and I'd be like, yeah, I like that song. I couldn't tell you any artists, or my daughter loves country. So like, I just put on like, Kane Brown is the guy she likes. He's a little dry for me. But no
Coldplay. People are like in the chat, they're like Coldplay.
No,
right, listen, if those people just would have acted normal, this thing never would have went viral. All right, what are they, amateurs? Like, note to self: if you ever get on the jumbotron, just act normal.
Act normal.
Stupid.
But somebody would have seen him. Somebody would have seen him. It would have got to his wife one way or the other. Did you see that his daughter has kind of started the grift on this?
His daughter, but I saw he resigned today, I think.
His daughter started a TikTok
really?
And has now got millions of views off of this based on like, my dad did this. And, so she's like talking about how somebody in the comments, then she responds to the comments and she does a TikTok on the comments. And one of the comments was like, oh, I'm supposed to feel bad for you that your dad did this and you're embarrassed, but you could just go party on your yacht. And then her next TikTok is her partying on a yacht. And so like, like she's giving it, she's a little sassy, but
good for her. Like take a terrible situation and try and make it better. Because divorce isn't easy on kids, it's not going to be easy on her.
No,
I mean, you could tell us about co-parenting because having gone through like divorce, death, jail, all in 1 year, marriage is hard. People don't tell you that, you think marriage is going to be so easy and you get like, they don't teach you that marriage is hard. You got to work at it every single day. Yeah.
One of the biggest reasons I stayed together and, probably in hindsight, it wasn't healthy. It's just like, is the stigma of being divorced. Right. It's like this. Oh, I don't want to, I'm going to be a statistic, right? I'm another, because nobody
would be mad at me.
Yeah. Like nobody. Yeah. My parent, like, it's like when people get married, nobody's thinking like, I'm going to get divorced.
No.
Like, it's like, you view it as like, I viewed it as like a surrender that I failed.
It's like a failure.
I failed at marriage. Like I
try hard enough.
This was supposed to be forever and I failed. And, eventually with me, it's like, I kind of stayed in a relationship that obviously it was with Lindsay Gattani on the side, right? Obviously I shouldn't have been in this marriage. Like something was missing there. Right.
A distractor.
Right. And so like, unfortunately it took this horrific event where I went to jail to like do something that I probably should have done, a long time ago, but I just didn't have the balls to do, quite frankly. Like I just didn't have, it was just, you get comfortable with your life. You're like, well, we have a house and like, where would I live? And what am I going to do? And how much it's going to cost? And like, so people just stay together a lot and they really should.
The kids, they stay in it for the kids,
and it is like, that can be a good thing sometimes. Like it is better. But then you realize but it's not, because you realize your kids are just seeing this model of marriage,
right?
That they shouldn't want you should want better for them, you know?
Right.
And so that it's really better if they just see that mom and dad live separately but get along and are happy, and that's okay
Right.
too. And you know, so it's an adjustment, you know. It's like because I gave her everything. Like she has the house, and it's a good time to get divorced when you're making more money, because divorce is very expensive.
Yeah. You know why?
Because it's worth it. Because it's worth it. Yeah. So yeah, so like I just, you know, you're nervous about it, and like how is it gonna go, and the kids gonna, and like having, you know, when I first wanted to have them over here for overnights, it was like I mean, that's new to them. It's like what? And it's they're a little resistant to it at first, but then they get used to it. And this is kind of like I'm renting where I am right now, so this is not like my forever home. So like that's one thing I need is like an actual my home. So I have to buy a house, and just because they share a room when they come here, and it's just not, it's 2-bedroom. It's just not conducive.
You should probably get someplace cheap in Canton right now. I don't know.
Yeah, right. No, it has to be. I gotta stay in Holden or like one of the neighboring towns, just so, because like the convenience, like going to the same schools. Like,
yeah, no, you have
if
to
you
be nearby.
live away, yeah, exactly. Like Danny Markel. I mean, that's how ultimately what caused. It's like people need to. When you get divorced, you gotta. It's much better if you live near your ex, and so I gotta make it work. And because you got to do what's best for the kids. Everything has to be what's best for the kids, even if you guys don't get along. And I'm not saying I don't get along with her, but she didn't marry Turtleboy. She married a teacher. She is a teacher herself, and it's just not what she signed up for. And I get it, and we just weren't meant to be. You know, it's like, so
but you still have to co-parent, and you still have to, you know, be role models for your kids, and you know, never badmouth the other. I will
parent. I will never badmouth her.
That's one piece of advice I would give.
Especially in front of the kids.
No.
You can't ever do it in front of, no matter if I'm ever mad at her, whatever, it's like, I don't say it in front of the kids ever. You send a text later and you explain your grievances, and you say, can we just not do this? And you know what I mean? Or yeah. And I would never notice. I badmouth a lot of people on my YouTube presentations.
Right.
I'll never
never heard you say a bad word about her.
I never will.
I never even heard you say a word about her at all, which is why I asked you yesterday. I'm like, are you cool with talking about your divorce? Because like a lot of us have been through it, and it's hard. And you know, it's the best advice that I could give any divorced father would be to like stay involved with your kids. Go to the things, go to the stuff, go to the games, go to the plays, go to whatever they're in. Show up at the parent teacher conference. Right. You know, like you got to be there, because so many dads just check out. And then they don't have a relationship with their kids, and then the kids wind up hating them, and it's so terrible.
Like you got to work hard for it to keep, because this is a formative age. My daughter's 10 and my son's 7 going on 8, and like I got to work hard to like make sure that I get time with them. And like it's like little things. Took my son to a baseball game yesterday, a Woo Sox game. It's like little shit like that. They always remember that. So like
take them on vacation. Take them on vacation too.
We're going on vacation next week. I'm really looking forward to a week. You know, no disrespect to her, but a week without mom. It's just it's very different when it's just you and them. And so you're building your own time with them. It's really important to have that time, and you know, to build your own relationship with them that way. And you know, they have a different relationship with me than they do with their mother, but I'll never badmouth her on here or in front of anyone, because that's the mother of my children.
That's right.
Period. And I'm stuck with her for life when it comes, you know what I mean?
No, and people grow apart, and it's just,
so you got to make it work. You got to do it. You got to get, you know, and it's easier when you're not living together. It's just easier, you know, there's less to argue about.
Yeah. Which is why like a lot of like typically men, but a lot of women too, stay in it for the kids. And I did, as a lawyer, I did divorce law for like 1 year. I thought it would be like, oh, I'm going to do this new kind of collaborative divorce. It's going to be so fun. No matter what, it's like horrible. It's the worst kind of law to practice ever, because it never ends. Like, you know, I get the kids every odd year Christmas, and he didn't drop them off in time. They're calling you.
This is your work as a lawyer, or your?
As a lawyer, I decided I'm going to, you know, not because the Catholic Church, the scandal that I handled, like sucked the life out of me. And I was like, I got to do something else. This is the litigation is eating my soul. And the most busy time for divorce lawyers, do you know when that is? Most busy season.
Valentine's Day? No.
Nope. It is the day after the last child goes to college.
Oh,
So
that makes
many of
perfect
the
sense.
breadwinners are like, okay, now I'm out. Last one's
Yep.
in college. I'm out of here. And I mean, listen, it's always traumatic for children. I happen to think it is easier for children that are much younger, but kids in college, like that's really traumatic when your parents are all of a sudden get divorced. Like no matter what age, it's hard. But yeah, staying in for the kids is not a great idea.
Yeah, it's easier at a younger age simply because it's what they get used to.
That's all they know.
It's
Yeah.
all, exactly, when it's all they know. And it's just once they see that it's really not that different. Like I'm a regular part of their life. I see them every day, get them on and off the bus. I'm always, it's like, we just make it work. But she's got to take her to cheering. So I got to take him, and I spend the whole day with him or vice versa or whatever. It's like, you just make it work.
But that's great too, because it's important to spend time with each kid individually. Like I have a lot of kids, so for me, I have 5 kids. To spend individual time with each kid is so important too. So that's good that you get to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely spend more time, with my son simply because of the cheering factor, and because she's real into cheering, and that's what she's into. And cheering's far away. Unfortunately, they closed our local gym, ECE, so you got to go to Tewksbury, which is like an hour away. And so that's like, she's taking her on that commute and whatever. And I have him during that time, but that's why like next week, the vacation week is like a really important week for me, because it's like, it is different. It's different when mom's not there. It's a different dynamic. It just is.
Because dad's the fun parent.
Right? Well,
and
it's
then
like,
unplug too while you're with them. Unplug.
Well, it's like if she wasn't, if you had, if I was here with my ex or whatever, and she was both there, like the natural gravitation is almost always to the mother, right? It's just human nature, like that you want to see them. But when mom's not there, it feels good because they gravitate towards the closest parent, and that's you in that case. And it does feel good because it's like, oh, nice. It feels good to be wanted, to be needed by other human beings. I don't know. It's like, but so I'm looking forward to that.
That's a natural feeling.
Yeah. So we got deep here.
Yeah, we did. I knew we would though.
But I don't mind talking about shit like this. It's like, I'm kind of an open book.
I know. It's let people know, who Aiden really is. Let's see I want to just see what your defense fund is up to right now. 229,825.
That's a couple $1,000. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that.
We can do better. Because I think when we started, it was like
227. I think. Yeah.
That's only like $2,000. Well, you can't let Brian LTL outdo us, you guys. Come on. Unless maybe I got to refresh the page. I don't know. You guys can do better. We can do better. Brian did a good job. Have you been on Brian's show? Yeah, Brian's out there always raising money for everybody. I really like Brian as a person. Like he's a really nice guy.
He's like the nicest guy. He really
is. Like he has such a good heart. I don't think there's a mean really bone in his body. No. He's got a very, very good heart. The defense fund is pinned in the chat for those of you who haven't been paying attention because you've been so engrossed in our very deep conversation. It's also in the show notes if you're watching this on replay.
Oh, and somebody in the chat just commented, and she asked, is it true you taught a class called American History Through Music? And yes, so I actually was, we didn't have, the history department didn't have any electives. All the other departments did. So like once you're after junior year, nobody takes history classes because your requirements are done. So seniors had no history electives to take. And so I'm like, well, I want to design a class. And so I'm like, I loved music. So I created a class from scratch. I had to come up with the whole curriculum, lessons, all this stuff called American History Through Music. And like it was a half a year class or 2 semesters, all seniors. And it was like, I would teach how different music during like different time periods in American history were like a lens to like what was happening during that time. Like for instance, like we played like the swing music of the 1920s and how it was popular like with young people, and there was this culture that was creating with young people that was like going out and having fun and being rebellious for the first time and blah blah blah. And then it's when music with like lyrics came along in like the 40s and the 50s and 60s, and when like we played a lot of like World War II music and Vietnam War music, like, and that was when it got really fun, when you got to do like Fortunate Son and like all that stuff. And like
American Pie.
Yeah. You actually read the lyrics to it and you're like, oh, this is what he's talking about here. He's talking about this incident here. Because they'd already taken American history with me the year before. So they'd already learned all this stuff. And so now we're like, oh, so I don't have to reteach that stuff. I'm teaching you like the music that went along with that era. So kids really liked it.
Yeah, like I remember my kids learned about this recently, like in high school, maybe, or maybe middle school. We Didn't Start the Fire, that Billy Joel song that's got everything.
That is the first song I play at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, I want you guys to underline every reference in here that you understand the reference to. And
right.
Yeah.
And then I'll teach you the rest of it.
Yes. I forgot.
That's fantastic.
About that song. Yeah, that's such a good song. I mean, it's not a good song. It's a horrible song, but like you can't like dance to it or anything, but like it's cool. All the shitty things into one thing. Or another good song is like the Beatles. So like obviously you got to teach about the Beatles, who were not really like, their songs didn't have usually a lot of deep meaning to it. It was like girls, like they were about girls and stuff. But like some of them did. Like once you get to the older Beatles stuff, like the song Revolution, which is like one of my favorite Beatles songs.
Yeah.
And so that song is like the moral of that song is that like, if you got money with people from minds that hate, all they got to tell you is, brother, that you have to wait, something like that. And basically he's saying there is like, if you tell me you're here for a revolution, yeah, we're all here to see the plan. I don't mind some political change. I'm down with that. But once you start coming to me with like, we're going to blow up the school or like terrorism, something like that, which like some of these extremists were into, then all I got to tell you is, brother, I ain't down with that. Or, Strawberry Fields.
Yeah.
That song is about bombing in Vietnam. That's what that song is about. The Strawberry Fields Forever, because the strawberry fields are the killing fields or whatever. So the Beatles, as they got older, definitely got more political, and the more drugs they did, they got more political.
Eleanor Rigby. Oh yeah. And then you're getting into the whole Magical Mystery Tour.
Yeah.
I used to call it the Magical Mystery Sally Port because, things would happen in that Sally Port. I have a whole playlist for the Karen Reed trial. So you can add a song. Actually, as I was listening to some of your interviews and some of your shows, I started making a playlist based on the things that you said. And one of them is I Don't Belong Here, because you kept saying I don't belong here. When you were in jail, you're like, I don't belong here. So there's one. The second one, thing that you said numerous times, time goes by so slowly. There's a song in there.
A song, yeah.
And then also All by Myself, because you were a little bit lonely in prison. So I was like, or jail. It's not prison, it was just jail.
Just jail.
Just 60 days in the pokey, no big whoop. How much would somebody have to pay you to do 60 days in jail?
Yeah, I thought about that, about how much I would pay to get out of jail. Like being in here, I'm like, how much would I pay to get out of here? And a lot. I would pay a lot of money to get out of jail. Like I was like $100,000. I get like no problem. It doesn't seem like a lot when you're not in there. And then you're in there, you're like, oh, this is gonna take forever.
Like when you have your civil case and the end of all this, and the damages portion is, how is your life changed? What like pecuniary losses do you have? And you can't really say this to a jury, but it's like, how much would somebody have to pay you to do 60 days in the Norfolk County Jail?
In solitary.
Right. There is no check that you can write that is big enough.
Yeah.
Now, I get a lot of flack for my pronunciation of Massachusetts towns, but I have learned how to say Leominster. I have learned how to say things like Peabody. I learned how to say Dracut, which is one of the ones.
Is that a hard one? Dracut? How do
Dracut?
How
Dracut? I think I said Dracut. They're like, no, it's Dracut.
Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yep.
Worcester, yeah. So
you know which one Bob Motta gets wrong all the time? I think he calls it Stoughton.
Oh, Stoughton. That's
yeah, exactly. I'm like,
and Norfolk.
Bob Motta.
Norfolk is Norfolk. Yeah. It's Norfolk.
Haverhill, Bill Ricca.
I learned Bill Ricca, but I have some Long Island town names for you that I'm going to put up on the screen to see if you can pronounce these. Okay.
Poughkeepsie?
We got a lot of towns here.
Upstate, yeah.
On Long Island that are hard to pronounce as well.
All right. Let's see.
All right. Here's number one. Oh wait, hold on. I got it. There's a typo in there. Yeah, that should be an I. Hold on. All right. Anybody from Long Island in the chat? Okay.
Mineola.
Good. That's
really
an easy one.
Oh, yep. Okay. All right. Like Massapequa.
Good.
Ooh.
You're pretty good at this game.
I've heard of Massapequa. oof. Kogi,
No.
Quogi,
Mm-mm.
Quogay, Koge.
Nope.
I don't know.
It's Quag. It's Quag.
Quag. Okay. All right.
Quag. It is one of the richest Hamptons. In
Quag.
fact, it is such a rich Hampton that it's like East Hampton, Southampton, and then there's this Hampton as well.
Sagaponic.
Yeah, good.
All right. All right.
All right, let's try this one.
These are such Long Island towns. Like just looking at them.
Everything.
Wantagh.
No.
Wantagh.
Mm-mm.
Wantagh. Wantagh.
Wantua.
Wantagh. Oh, Wantagh.
Wantua.
Where's the W? Okay. Wantagh.
Wantua.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
One more for you. Oh, I got to delete some. And I got to delete, the banners because you can only have 50. And the ones right above it are Massachusetts versus Kearney restraining order violation bench trial. I can delete that one. And then Aiden's hearing above that. All right. So I have to get one more in here for you. You're pretty good at this game, though. You did pretty good. Did pretty well.
Ronkonkoma? Ronkonkoma.
Ronkonkoma. Well
okay. There we go.
Ronkonkoma.
Ronkonkoma. Second chance.
I think you did pretty well on that test. Nice. That'd be a fun little test.
I don't think the only part of Long Island I've been to is Brooklyn and Queens. I've never been past
Long Island.
I've never been
Queens technically is, but it's really not.
Well, they both technically on the island. Like the river separates it there.
Nassau and Suffolk County is Long Island. As far as
yeah, exactly. I've never been to.
I have some friends. We'll go to the Hamptons. We'll go. People would probably recognize you in the Hamptons, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I had a couple friends from Floral Park or Floral Pork, as they call it.
That's Nassau.
Yeah. The Long Island people in college were so easy to identify as Long Islanders.
A lot of people go to ZooMass from Long Island,
especially the women, because they all were in sororities and wore headbands and sweatpants everywhere. And it was just so obvious they were from Long Island.
Long Island. Yeah. So you could take the ferry from New London. And that ferry from New London, Connecticut takes you to Orient Point, which is all the way out east near the Hamptons. So that's closest to the Hamptons. Or you can take a ferry from Bridgeport, Connecticut, and that comes to Port Jefferson, which is like
Nassau County,
closer to me. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's Suffolk County still, but it's a little bit further east. I mean, it's a little bit further west on the island. So when I'm going to Boston, if I feel like driving, I'll go out to Orient and then go to New London. Like if I'm going to New Hampshire, then it's like 3 hours from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Bridgeport, it could be like 3.5 hours. So it depends on what I feel like. But it's a nice boat ride.
When you come to Massachusetts, you would take the ferry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With your car, the car can go on a ferry.
Yeah, you can put the car on the ferry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, you don't want to go through the city.
Driving around through the city, take you forever. Get on 95 through Connecticut. No,
and then through Connecticut, it's
3 days.
Just as bad. Just as bad. Screw Connecticut. I hate Connecticut.
It's a nice boat ride. It's a nice boat.
I've never been on. Yeah, I got to try it sometime.
All right. So you come. We'll do the Long Island thing after you get back from your vacation. If you could interview anybody, who would you want to interview?
Karen Reed.
You'll get that one too.
I have
a feeling.
Obviously, that's the first one. I don't expect the first one. I'm saying, but like that would be my first choice. Is Karen Reed, obviously, no doubt.
That's interesting. I was gonna think you're like Mahatma Gandhi. I'm like, it could be anybody in history. All right, who's your second choice? Anybody in history?
Oh, anyone in history?
Yeah.
Gee whiz. I'd have to think about that.
All right, you think about that.
Maybe Thomas Jefferson, because Thomas Jefferson was like a really big advocate for free speech and the First Amendment. He was kind of the architect of the Bill of Rights, and he was just an adamant opponent. It's funny, with Jefferson and Adams were like rivals, and I'm a Jefferson guy because like Adams wanted to sign this law into legislation in 1798 called the Alien and Sedition Acts, which greatly it basically this newspapers were saying horrible things about him, like he's horrible, this and that, and his wife Abigail was up his ass at telling him, John, you're the president. They should not be disrespecting you like this. They should not be allowed to say this about you. And so he signs this law, basically severely limiting the right to the free press on the basis that like what they're saying is dangerous. And Thomas Jefferson lost his mind over it. And it's like, absolutely not. This is authoritarian, what you're doing right now. You have like, we are public officials. They have every right to lampoon us and say whatever they want about us, horrible, whatever. It's the price that comes with being a free society. So he really, Thomas Jefferson saw, 250 years ago, what I'm kind of going through today. And so that's maybe he'd probably be one of my first choices.
And what I find that is going to be so ironic when all of this is over is that the guy that they tried to shut up is going to be the catalyst for change, for changing the laws in Massachusetts about witness intimidation, for changing the laws on freedom of speech, for helping the journalistic shield become an actual thing in Massachusetts.
I hope so. That'd be
because
very cool.
reporters should be very frightened. People who speak to reporters in Massachusetts should be very frightened because there's no protection for sources or whistleblowers.
None.
Think about that.
You have no right to just be like, well, that's a source. I can't give that up. Nope. Give it up. I want
Nothing.
And Hank Brennan was like the ultimate abuser of that. He was just like, nope, we want to know everything. We want your sources. He knew there was no journalist protection law, and he exploited that to his advantage with his ridiculous emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, he's evil. He's just evil.
He is. He's a bad man. I don't care what people say. Don't tell me he was just doing his job. Nah, he liked this. This isn't, and so did the guy working the night shift at Auschwitz who didn't kill anyone. You know what I mean? Didn't hurt anyone. He was still working there. It's like this guy is participating in something that is evil. He's not stupid. He knows it was evil, and he had like energy to it too. He wasn't like Lally just kind of going through the motions. Like he brought an energy to it there. He wanted her skull. Like he wanted to show this off. This was a skull. Yeah. This was a trophy for him. The Karen Reed was a trophy to win for him that I believe that he was going to use to eventually run for district attorney next year. I think that was the plan, was that he was that was the logical thing. Morrissey was going to resign,
get the endorsement,
was going to run on a platform of I got justice for John O'Keefe, and Karen Reed's in jail because of me. Vote for me, law and order. I think that's what his plan was.
Right. And maybe Morrissey was like, come on, do me a solid. I'll endorse you.
Exactly.
Why else would they have to hire outside the office? They got 50 attorneys on staff.
Remember
that potato of Norfolk County, that case.
Remember that question that you just asked me now about the when the Turtleboy Files come out. You're going to find something in there that is the biggest. Like, it's so good. I can't.
It's going to be why they hired Hank Brennan. It'll answer my question.
Yes, you are going to get an answer for that.
Wow, this was really fun. Thank you for hanging out with me for 3 hours. Really,
my pleasure. It flew by.
I hope the money keeps continuing to flow in because you need it. Because the killer bees are not cheap. Let's just say nobody's working pro bono right now on this one,
but
right?
They're worth every penny.
100%.
Love
them both.
Penny. Yeah,
I love them both. I've been talking to Tim about coming on because he says he owes me an interview on you. He wants to talk about Kelsey Simmons, which I understand that you probably don't want to talk about.
I'm gonna stay away from anything that Bradel's involved with because I'm biased. Like people come to me because they want unbiased things on things. I'm like, I'm not gonna go against my lawyer's client, and I'm also, if I go in favor of my lawyer's client, you're gonna say I'm just doing it because So I'm gonna stay away from that.
Yeah, and the same thing with the Pepperdine case, the Fraser bomb case. Exactly. Listen, I'm an attorney, but I have opinions and I'm going to share them. So people come on my channel, they're like, you really should be more neutral. I'm like, no, I don't need to be neutral at all. This is my legal analysis based on everything that I've reviewed. Karen Reed is not guilty. John O'Keefe is not a bad car. Go F yourself if you don't like what I have to say. Turn the channel. Go somewhere else for your free content.
Exactly. That's the Turtleboy spirit right there.
Go somewhere else for your free content. If I sit on a fence, I get injured. I don't want to get injured. I'm not going to sit on a fence.
Yeah.
Sitting on a fence is boring.
Exactly. And that's why people like you, and that's why people are drawn to this, because there's no market for fence sitting when it comes to Karen Reed. Either you're supporting or the right side of this or you're not, period.
Exactly. All right. Any closing thoughts before I let you go? I've kept you here for a long time.
No,
it was really fun.
Thank you so much for having me on. This was a pleasure. Hope you guys all had fun watching this, and I appreciate all the support and the money that you guys have given, and more just being there and the moral support. And knowing that you guys all have my back. Really appreciate it, man.
Well, we do, man. We're going to free Turtleboy next. When's your next court appearance? Is August 13th?
August 13th.
Okay. And that's a physical appearance where it's not just a deadline. So you're going to go to court that day, 2 p.m.?
So Bettero's on vacation that week, so he'll be on Zoom, unfortunately. But yes, I will physically be there in person as well, Bradel. Yeah.
Watching Tim Bradle try that case, the Lindsay Gattani, that was
great.
so entertaining.
Great
He
cross
is
examiner.
so passionate about what he does. I mean, you could see it,
Yes, he does.
Like, he's not boring because he believes in you. He believes in your case. He believes in the First Amendment, and God bless him. Everyone hates defense attorneys until they need one.
Yeah. If anybody
Right?
who's met Tim Bradle loves him, he's like the nicest guy. Like, it's impossible not to like Tim Bradle when you meet him,
He's a good, I haven't met him. Yeah. Have I met him? I don't know. Everything is like a blur, but after you get freed, can we have a big victory party? Because we didn't get a big Karen Reed victory party.
Yeah, we need to.
Maybe it's coming, but
Yeah.
We
definitely need to, for sure.
Oh, and I also wanted to congratulate you on your 100,000 plaque that Brian made for you, because that was so nice.
That was another example.
That was so nice.
What a swell guy Brian is.
Right? So good. I'm glad you got the plaque. I want to see it. Hang it up next time. I didn't even unbox mine yet. It's sitting over there. I was going to do a thing, but maybe I'll have you come MC a party. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Bye.
All right, you guys, hang on. We're going to look at the supers or whatever happened here. The gifting. Wasn't that fun? Yay. Everyone always thought we had beef. It was just like, he wasn't around. Thank you, Cal. So it's just because you're you. And been with me for 21 months. You're an OG. Nicole Lee became a member. I shut off supers, so I wanted you guys who wanted to donate to me to donate to him instead. Med Tea Party said my two faves. Thank you. Boston Girl became a member. Happy Sunday Cupcake, said Annie. Polly became a member. The Goodmans are here and they gifted a membership. The Goodmans wouldn't miss it, right? For the love of the traveling trooper. So glad to see Melanie and Aiden. Awesome interview. Paul Young's gifted a membership. Thank you, Paul. And the Goodmans gifted another one. Shiraz said, so glad I know more about Turtleboy and his situation now. I know, listen, a lot of people did not want to, may have not wanted to learn about the Karen Reed case because they, for whatever reason, believed all the BS about Aiden and didn't like him because they were hearing from so many other people that didn't like him. He's a really likable guy, and even more so in person. So I'm glad that you guys are taking an interest. I've got a playlist. Like I said, there's 20 videos on his case, and what they're doing to him, they're railroading him. They set him up to be arrested, took him away from his kids for 60 days, arrested him at his kid's bus stop. We didn't even get into that. Tully did, because Kate Peter told them what time the bus came. He lost 60 days with his mom, who luckily at the time wasn't sick, but they set him up. And when all of these Turtleboy files are released and all these text messages are going to be released, you're going to see the orchestration of the plan to put him away and shut him up because he's too effective and people didn't like it. And yeah, maybe it's uncomfortable for some people, but that's not a reason to throw somebody in jail because you're uncomfortable and your feelings are hurt. Thank you. Gigi's got the silver bracelets already, gifted 10 memberships and then another 10 memberships. And then I think 10 at the beginning. So 30 memberships. Welcome to all of the new members. Thank you, Gigi. I appreciate you so much. I didn't want to interrupt the show to thank you, and the Goodmans gifted another. And look at Will. Will Wallace coming in here and with a $50 super sticker. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you. You're a very kind and generous benefactor of the channel. Susan C is here and she gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, my dear. Reasonable AF says, love you both so much. Thank you. Did you see? I think I posted a screenshot of the message you sent me today. I think it's you because the profile picture looks the same on Instagram. And it was so funny. It was a text message between a mother and a son. And the son said to the mom, wait, where is it? My 16-year-old son came to me asking, what plans do we have with Melanie and Turtleboy? Apparently, I added tonight's live to our family calendar instead of my own. And then a bunch of laughing emojis. And it looks like the same profile picture. So that is funny. You made my Instagram story and I put the Black Eyed Peas. Let's get it started. Thank you for taking an interest. Margie, thank you for becoming a member. Boston Girl, a.k.a. Charissa, gifted a membership. Thank you. And then Boston Girl gifted another 5 memberships. Kat Randall gifted a membership. Motions and CPAs here for a year. So glad Karen Reed brought me here. Oh, I'm glad too. And Sinbad says, best Turtleboy World Tour 25 interview. Great job, man. Oh, thank you. I wanted to do something different, and I wanted to do something, to learn a little more about him. And also, like, every question has already been asked. Like, what was there left to ask? So I'm glad when we spoke yesterday, I said, is your childhood off limits? Is your divorce off limits? Is your mom off limits? Because, he puts on his pants one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. Thank you, Sunny Beach, for becoming a member. You're awesome. Tell me. Okay, here's what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Tomorrow at 9 a.m. There is supposed to be a hearing on this Miles Young case. Not Miles Young. Wait, what is that? Hold on. Let me get my notes. And this is something that was in the Herald today. Boop. So apparently Lally and Proctor have both been subpoenaed to appear in court tomorrow. In front of, I'm not sure who is sitting there, if it's Krupp. I'm not sure. I didn't look at the docket yet, but there's a bunch of hearings happening at 9 a.m. So what is happening here is Rosemary Scapiccio has a motion to dismiss. All right, I'm just going to read this to you. Two prominent figures from the murder trials of Karen Read could crop up again in the same courtroom on Monday. Both original Read prosecutor Adam Lally and lead investigator Michael Proctor, who was fired by the Massachusetts State Police earlier this year, due primarily to his conduct into that investigation, could end up on the witness stand on Monday for a Milton murder case. The pair have been directed to return once again to Norfolk Superior Courtroom 25. That's the courtroom where Lally twice prosecuted Mansfield's Read for the murder of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. And Proctor read aloud from the witness stand the text messages that contributed in no small part to his dishonorable discharge from the force earlier this year. Possible fireworks could come in a hearing scheduled for 9 a.m. Monday, courtroom 25 of the Norfolk Superior Court, the same room, the retrial in the same room. Blah, blah. This time it's for an evidentiary hearing to dismiss the murder case of Miles Omari King, a case partially investigated by a prosecutor and a case partially investigated by Proctor and originally prosecuted by Lally. So it could be interesting. There could be fireworks. Hopefully, I mean, if there's no video of it, there will at least be audio of it that we can listen to on Zoom. And I think we need to be here at 9 a.m. I know, Kindergarten Cop. I will give you a special dispensation to come in late tomorrow morning because, there's like 3 or 4 cases on the calendar. It might not be the first one, but you know what? We'll come, we'll hang out. Bring your coffee, 9 a.m. When I end this stream, it's going to teleport you over to that one for the morning so you can hit a reminder for yourself. And then at 1:30, I want to handle the plea hearing for Stephan Sterns because that man should burn in hell. He should be burned alive at the stake and burn in hell for the rest of his life. Apparently, he's going to plead guilty tomorrow for all of the things that he did to Maddie Soto. And good, because if there's no death penalty, at least he should plead guilty and spend the rest of his life in prison. And I am so happy about that because I did not want to cover that trial at all. I have not covered that case at all because being a mother of 5 and the repulsive, disgusting thing that Stephan Sterns did to that girl, there is a special place in hell for that guy. And so there's a special hearing that's been added to the calendar tomorrow in Florida at 1:30 for Stephan Sterns. I have been told that he's going to plead guilty to everything and that there's going to be victim impact statements, which are always very sad, but at least we could show up for that because that man is a monster, in my opinion, 100%. Okay. All right. Adelson, I don't know if I'm going to do Adelson. There's so many other people that have been covering Adelson like from the beginning that I don't know if I want to just jump into that just now. But now that a lot of things have freed up with, we got to free Aaron Spencer. That's what we got to do. We got to free Aaron Spencer. I have more stuff to talk to you about on Aaron Spencer. And for those of you who don't know about Aaron Spencer, let me just stay here for a minute because you need to know about Aaron Spencer. You guys raised like at least $10,000 for his Give Send Go, which is why we can do better for Turtleboy. I know we can. Tomorrow is the Sterns hearing, Stephan Sterns at 1:30. So we're at 9 a.m. We're gonna do the Proctor Lally thing. And this is what I'm trying to say before. This is what should have happened with Karen Read's motion to dismiss. Okay, the most recent one when they were talking about extraordinary governmental misconduct and the failure to turn over all the Sallyport video that was not turned over until after the first trial was over. And where was that Sallyport video? Who had it? And Bettero and I were screaming, mostly Bettero, Adam Lally needs to be put on the stand. There needs to be a hearing and somebody needs to put Adam Lally on the stand and Laura McLaughlin and Proctor to see who had that video and when and where did they get it from. And Judge Cannoni never, ever allowed a hearing. Tomorrow, there's a hearing. Different judge, different rules. And Proctor and Lai are going to have to get on the hot seat. So I'm here for it. This is what should have happened in Karen's case, and it didn't. My stream on Aaron Spencer has been demonetized. I appealed it. It is still demonetized because they don't want me talking about it either. They don't want me talking about the horrible things that man, Michael Fossler, did to Aaron Spencer's daughter. They don't want me talking about it. I don't know. There's so much corruption in Arkansas. Maybe they tried to shadow ban me. I don't know, but I don't care. They're not going to shut me up. They're not going to shut me up. I'm still talking about it. I'm still talking about it here from the mother's words, because this case involving Aaron Spencer, there was immediately a gag order against them where the family couldn't even speak. Okay. So I'm going to tell you from the mother's mouth what happened in this case, because she's finally allowed to speak again. Her name is Heather Spencer. She's public on Facebook, which is Facebook. I don't really use it, so I don't really go there, but you can follow her, and you can also follow the Aaron Spencer page, which is linked in my Aaron Spencer video. And so here's Heather Spencer's story. And I just want to read this to you, because if this does not get you interested in this case, I don't know what the hell will. As a mother, as a person, as a human, she says this: it's been a hard 8 months. And this was just June 14th. It's been a hard 8 months silently fighting battles we were unprepared for. In those early days, we had a very limited understanding of the magnitude of what we were facing. What happened to our child starting in the spring of 2024 when she was just 13 was horrifying and traumatic. Horrifying and traumatic for all who loved her. She is a quiet homeschooled child who at the time spent more days than not helping care for her dying grandpa. It was hard work, and when presented with the opportunity to spend some time in a safe place, I allowed her to take a much needed break on days when we weren't too busy with friends that were family. Deep in my soul, they were family, and I trusted that she was safe. She wasn't. It took very little exposure for an unknown man who was old enough to be my father to start pursuing my child. This monster was an opportunist and started grooming my then 13-year-old child via text. In July of 2024, we were informed by a family member that our now 14-year-old child had confided that she had been raped. Immediately, we asked our child what happened, and she explained that this man who was a stranger to us had assaulted her multiple times. We let the law run its course, and we were promised along the way that this isn't 20 years ago, that they take these things very seriously now. We trusted that this man would be served justice under the law. While we were happy that he was quickly arrested, we were not privy to the fact that he was released on a low bond with zero supervision. Even though we anticipated his release, we thought the pending felony charges and a no contact order would be enough to keep him away from our child. We were wrong. Just so you know, it was like 43 felony charges. He was let out on like $5,000 cash. We put our daughter into therapy and tried our best to manage the trauma while still caring for my dying father. When we were awakened by our daughter's dog in the middle of the night on October 8th. Okay, so here's the series of events. The essay charges, the event happened beginning of June. He wasn't arrested until, or the daughter didn't disclose until July 11th. He gets let out July 11th on bail. His trial is scheduled for December 4th through 6th. She's the only witness at his trial. And then October 8th, the dog starts barking. Dad gets up. Daughter's missing. She says, when we were awakened by our daughter in the middle of the night on October 8th, my first thought was that our child was sick. I woke my husband up and asked him to check on her. What happened next is burned into my very being. He called out from her room that she was missing. Immediately, all the lights in the house were on. We were calling for her inside the house, then outside. I called our son and our niece, the only people who may have known where she may have gone. Neither did, so I called 911 immediately as my husband left to go looking for her with no direction in mind, only a prayer of finding her. My sister-in-law then sent us a picture of a Cash App payment for DoorDash, in quotes, from the predator to our daughter and a niece a day or two prior. In that moment, we realize that she may have been taken, but it's the middle of the night and everything is happening in seconds and every second counts. I tell 911 that this man may be involved. And as I'm speaking, I'm realizing that if he does have her, I'll probably never see her again. Statistics and horror stories race through my mind. My baby, my little girl, gone. All I could do was pray. I hung up with the 911 operator and called my mother. I screamed in horror while she prayed Hail Marys. God, please save my baby. My own screams will forever haunt my memory. By God's grace alone, my husband spotted the predator and our child and turned to follow them. Then the predator ran with our child. Thanks to my husband's quick and courageous actions, our child was saved that night. I have no doubt that if it weren't for God and my husband, I would have never seen my child again. The relief of my child being alive was quickly followed by terror as the prosecutor set preliminary charges at murder one with a $150,000 bond. Going through yet another assault exam with my child at the hospital while trying to find a lawyer for my husband was a nightmare. Navigating criminal charges while also being fully traumatized by the events of the night was difficult. It quickly made its way through social media, and with the support of our community, we attained the very best lawyers, and Aaron was released on bond. At arraignment, they decided to charge my husband with murder too, with a gun enhancement charge. Then immediately, the same judge who released the monster out in the community to continue his reign of terror on our child placed us and seemingly the whole world under an unconstitutional gag order. We were no longer able to share our story and were forced to suffer the injustice of it all in silence. By some other miracle, our case was heard by the Arkansas Supreme Court and the gag order was lifted. We are now free to share our story again. My husband didn't ask to be put in a position to save our child. We didn't ask for any of this. An evil man with a long history of predatory behavior targeted our child and was not scared of the consequences. My husband was forced to save his child from someone who should have never been on the streets to begin with. Please continue to pray for our family and share our story. If this can happen to us in rural Arkansas, it can happen anywhere. So here's Aaron Spencer and his wife, Heather. What had happened was, it turns out that the guy that they released on the $5,000 bond was a former police chief in Indiana. Like, you just cannot make it up. You just can't. It's horrifying. It is horrifying. There's another conference coming up, and then the trial is set for September 22nd. A lot of the documents have been sealed. All of the documents on Michael Fossler, the guy who attacked their daughter, all 43 felonies, those records are sealed. I can't get a hold of the indictment because the same judge said, yeah, it's involving a minor, so we have to seal it. No, it's called redactions. We do that all the time. We redact papers. The corruption in Arkansas appears to be staggering, and many people have reached out that this guy, when he was the police chief in a little town, I think called Hamlet, Indiana, people were, warned about him. It's sick. And sometimes, as we sometimes have like the land of the lost, we have Chaka sometimes as our mascot because, we're in the land of the lost. Sometimes we have to put Dexter up there because, if you know about Dexter. I mean, some people need a killing. In my opinion, she never would have returned home. He took her and he was not going to bring her home. It's absurd. It's horrifying. We need to free Aaron Spencer. And hopefully we can get Turtleboy on this too. We got to free Turtleboy and we got to free Aaron Spencer. And it is very disturbing. And they don't want you to know about it. And YouTube struck me for whatever reason. I have no idea. Just for talking about it. You know me. I never say the words. So my appeal was lost. I'm going to have to appeal it again. But it's not about the monetization for the ad revenue. It's about the shadow banning because it won't get out there. So share the story. I have I have to start the playlist, but I have one very long video where we went over the appeal. We went over a lot of papers. And so I would like you to be interested in this with me. Bob Mata has also covered it. Everybody needs to cover it because everyone needs to know about it because the daughter was 13. 13. Green-eyed Southern girl is going to be boots on the ground. They need signs outside the courthouse. They need to do, the free Aaron Spencer. Justifiable homicide, perhaps. We don't know if he pulled a weapon. Could have been self-defense. But whatever it is, the word needs to get out. So thank you, Maya, for being here for it. I know that you guys, when we set our minds to them, we already have a momentum going on Karen Reed. Now we got to keep that positive energy towards people being wrongfully persecuted and laws that are being weaponized against people like Aidan Kearney, who's a journalist. There needs to be light shown in some very dark places. And that's what we're here to do. I know you guys are willing to do that with me. So thank you for that. Thanks you guys for hanging out with me all night. It's been a long one, right? But we're going to come back in the morning. So we all got to go and get our beauty rest. And then we'll come back in the morning and we'll do this all again, starting at 9 a.m. What do you think about that? Thank you. Sunny Beach for becoming a member. Thank you, Christine, for saying awesome interview. You guys are the best. Thank you to the moderators. This was probably not, I tried all night not to look at the chat. And I didn't look at the chat because I know that Aiden gets distracted by the chat too. And I said to him in the green room, backstage, I said, let's make a deal. We won't, neither one of us will look at the chat because we both get distracted by the chat and the mean things that people say. So hopefully, moderators, it was okay. And you guys did okay. And everyone behaved themselves, but who knows? I'll go read the chat and I'll see. Thank you, Kelly Reed, for being here tonight. And to all of my faves, I bet you Nurse Kim was here, but I wasn't even watching the chat. So I only know about the people who texted me. Nurse Kim texted me before the show, to wish me a good show. And Kelly Reed said, fabulous interview. You killed a girlfriend and I love it with all of my heart. If I don't see you soon, I'm going to die. And Aidan Kearney did not put a horse head in anyone's bed. Oh, you know what else I learned yesterday when I was researching that? First of all, in The Godfather, when they were filming that scene, they used a real horse's head. That was a real horse's head because Francis Ford Coppola said, no, the fake horse's head isn't doing it for me. They got a real one. Did you guys know that? Crazy, right? All right, my friends, stay cool, stay kind, stay classy, do all of the things that YouTube likes, smash the like button, comment respectfully, get some engagement going. The super chats were off because I wanted the money to go to Turtleboy for his defense fund. And it looks like we're up to 231,000 and change. So that's about $4,000. But I know there will be people on replay that will give as well. And so you guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Stay cool, stay kind, stay classy. Thank the moderators. And I will see you in the morning. When I hit end on this, buckle your seatbelts. It's going to teleport you to the morning stream. So you can just hit the reminder and come right back with me tomorrow morning. Peace.